CBS's Chris Van Cleve says airlines are prepared for the rush.
American and United Airlines expect to fly about 7 million passengers this weekend. The FAA is forecasting the busiest Labor Day in 15 years. The Kittle family is hoping to beat the crowd leaving Washington, D.C.
Yeah, definitely nervous. We didn't know what to expect with the holiday. We thought it might be really busy, so we got here a little bit early.
Most Americans will drive, finding gas prices on average about 15 cents a gallon cheaper.
It's also a big weekend in Detroit, which is throwing a sandwich party. Here's WWJ radio reporter Kyle Beery.
This year, 35 restaurants and food trucks are serving up everything from Cubanos and muffalettas to sandwiches with pickles for buns.
We have sandwiches for every single person. Because who doesn't like sandwiches?
Police are looking at evidence left behind by the person who shot and killed 2 children at a Catholic church in Minneapolis Wednesday. CBS's Nicole Skanga has that.
Investigators now poring over videos produced by the gunman showing an arsenal of weapons, magazine clips, and writing. They're also going through those writings, those weapons. Those videos we know were published at roughly the same time that the shooter opened fire on Annunciation Church.
No decision today on a request by Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook for a temporary restraining order. She is fighting President Trump's attempt to fire her. Chicago is preparing for the arrival of National Guard troops as soon as next week as part of President Trump's anti-crime initiative. Other cities are preparing for more aggressive action by ICE agents. More on that from KCBS radio reporter Mike DeWald.
The approach is, by and large, hands-off. Interim Police Chief Paul Yep says San Francisco police officers shouldn't help nor hinder federal law enforcement. San Francisco Supervisor Matt Dorsey welcomes the move. He says officers walk a fine line in upholding the city's sanctuary protections.
We don't have to cooperate, but we don't have the constitutional right to interfere or obstruct federal officers either.
San Francisco police can only get involved if life or property is at risk. Mike DeWald for CBS News, San Francisco.
The terrifying Hurricane Katrina made landfall in Mississippi and Louisiana 20 years ago today, breaching levees in New Orleans and forever changing the city. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves spoke at a commemoration in Biloxi.
Hurricane Katrina may have reshaped our coastline and our state for years, but it did not change who we are as people.
The Dow is down about 0.25% at this hour. This is CBS News.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Investigators find bones as they search for Travis Decker. The story coming up, but first, Nate Connors is at the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Heather. This report brought to us by the KIRO Radio Rundown. If you're headed to the coast for the weekend, Tacoma to Olympia already at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Got a 4 to 5 mile backup through JBLM and another big backup forming between Lacey and Olympia. Out toward Tiger Mountain, eastbound 18 has a 4 to 5 mile backup east of the summit headed over to I-90. Bellevue to Renton is going to take you 20 minutes. Southbound 405 is recovering from an earlier collision near the VMAX. So right now you're slow from southeast 8th down to northeast 44th. South 5 into Seattle now slows from 145th and Shoreline into downtown. It gets pretty thick there through Northgate. And then Linwood to Seattle has jumped to 35 minutes. If you head over to a wide open Highway 99, you can avoid all of this. Eastbound 2, you've got a few miles of backup heading into Monroe. Another couple miles of a backup forming as you head through Sultan. And if you head to the airport, it's getting busy. The Airport Expressway is packed about halfway down the drive as you head toward the arrivals and departures decks. Text newsletter to 888-973-5476 and subscribe to the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown. Get the latest news and updates from your favorite KIRO News Radio shows straight to your inbox. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bosch. Investigators searching for accused killer Travis Decker say they're working to determine whether bones found during a search this week are human or animal. The FBI says they were discovered during a detailed grid search in and around a campground where the bodies of Decker's 3 young daughters were found in June. Decker disappeared. Sound Transit's expansion plan is hitting a financial wall, overshooting its budget by $20 billion. More from KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley.
Transit 3 system plan back in 2016. Back then, it had a price tag of around $54 billion. That number has changed.
This is going to be a very challenging time for us. We've been through them before.
Without any action, Sound Transit staff say they'll need an estimated $14 to $20 billion more just for major link expansions, including West Seattle, Ballard, Tacoma Dome, Everett, and more.
The Sound Transit Board is looking for ways to cut costs and raise revenue, but still make trips affordable. Sound Transit says passenger service on light rail to Federal Way will begin in December.
This extension is going to include nearly 8 new miles of light rail, 3 new stations connecting Federal Way to Star Lake to Highline College here at Kent Des Moines Station.
KIRO 7 TV reports the tracks and station cost taxpayers about $2.5 billion, including a $629 million federal loan. Dozens of people showed up Thursday night to a town hall to discuss the upcoming closure of a Fred Meyer in Tacoma. KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibao was there.
Locals say the closure will affect low-income families, seniors, and people with disabilities from accessing food and medication.
I'm worried about the impact it's going to have on my students.
Gavin Morga is a teacher who says many of his students' families rely on walking to this Fred Meyer.
I'm worried about the access that the families are now going to have just to good food.
Fred Meyer says high crime is a big reason why it's closing.
The Seattle Mariners will be without Victor Robles for the next 7 games. Major League Baseball reduced his 10-game suspension after he appealed and apologized for throwing a bat at a pitcher in AAA.
He picks up the bat and throws it at Estes. He's been tossed.
Robles says he was frustrated after getting hit 5 times in 15 at-bats and was also dealing with the recent death of his mother. The M's begin a 9-game road trip tonight in Cleveland. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs in the low 80s. It's 69 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO Newsradio.
Welcome to the Friday edition of the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill, along with Greg Tomlin, because, Greg, I think we can officially make the declaration right now. Jake Skorheim is America's smartest traveler.
Oh, no kidding.
Took Friday off.
There you go.
Labor Day weekend. Here it is, the last hoorah of the summer of 2025. I know summer doesn't end until about another 3 weeks, if my math plays out. It's September 21st, 2nd, somewhere in there.
Is summer going out with a bang or a whimper this year?
Case by case. Your actual summer may vary.
I mean, weather-wise, it seems like we're hitting our peak here. Gorgeous, right towards the end.
Yeah. Hot, but not crazy hot. No. Excessive heat warning hot, if you buy into that kind of alarmism.
Semantics.
Right? We think it's all marketing.
Speaking of heat, was it a scorcher last night? I heard you had an unbelievable rock show last night in Puyallup, Spike. Rumor has it.
Thank you very much. We had a wonderful night. Our thanks to the great people and town of Puyallup. We got to wrap up their Summer in the Park series.
Love it. You were bringing the heat.
We brought the heat last night. We had a fun night. It was. Thank you. We had a wonderful time. A little sweaty. I'm not gonna lie to you. A little sweaty at times. A little loud. But when the 7-year-old got on stage for our encores with a pink balloon guitar, you make balloon animals.
Amazing.
Somebody was crafting balloon guitars because it's all ages shows at the parks.
Yep.
Around town, and that's one of the beauties of our parks in this town is that we have family accessible, family friendly, family welcoming parks. Got a story coming up in just a minute or two about where we rank on the national crime register for the most dangerous cities according to statistics, and we love to point our fingers at statistics. But for the most part, the parks in our community are ours to cherish and treasure and care for. I know that G went down and actually it went down to the Blaine, is it Blaine Edwards? The nudist, the newly.
Oh, Denny Blaine.
Denny Blaine. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't been there. I misspoke that name purposefully to show my I haven't been there yet. Thank you. Anyway, I love our parks. I really do. And we have a story that we want to do really quickly, just as a public service to open the show with. First things first here is the story, and you can find the details on mynorthwest.com because we've all been subjected to the scams that come across our phones, our emails, sometimes our direct mail. And it seems that the more difficult economic times get, the more stress people are under financially, the more people turn to dubious means of making a living even by earning a buck. There's a scam going around, and it's targeting the Hispanic community, the Spanish-speaking community. This is at a Kitsap County Sheriff's Office, and I'll tell you how directed this is to the community. The alert from the Kitsap County Sheriff is actually in Spanish, and I don't read Spanish, but what they're doing is they are targeting the community with scams that you have a loved one has been kidnapped, and they are demanding your silence and money. And it's become pretty prevalent, so much so that the numerous people have had to reach out to the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office, ignoring the warnings. But we don't even know how many people have fallen victim to and acquiesced to the scam.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Spike, but I probably miss about 1 or 2 calls per day that I should be answering, whether it's from like a doctor's office or a plumber or a booker who wants to sign our band up for some event, simply because I don't recognize the number. Right. That I'm getting a call from, and I assume in this day and age that it's spam or scam, and I get those calls constantly. And for the first time in maybe 2 decades, I've considered getting a new phone number, but I think in that case there would probably be like this brief honeymoon period where I wouldn't get those calls for like a month or 2, and then they would start right back up again. So I don't know any way out of this. It's completely out of control. I really do think this is a case where government needs to be taking a bigger role in stopping these kinds of calls or making the punishments more severe if people like this are caught. But now I get voicemails to the tune of like 5 or 6 a day from spammers. And so half of my day is just like deleting voicemails that I'm getting from these spam calls. It's completely ridiculous.
See that one right there? That came into my phone. It says, my phone says scam likely with numbers that are unidentified.
Yeah.
You're right, though, because and most times, and you say they should make harsher punishments, and you're not wrong, but most of the time these are computer-driven robots, crawling robots, just randomly dialing numbers in the thousands, tens of thousands.
Yep.
At a troll. And I'm with you. If I've got a car in a shop, or I've got a doctor's appointment scheduled, or whatever, and you're expecting a call from somebody, and you see that local area code come in, and the minute you take it and there's nobody there, I bit the hook, fish on. But now my number,
like
you said,
2 seconds of silence.
2 seconds of silence.
With some guy scrambling to get to the phone.
And now I've fallen into their trap. I'm targeted as a live fish on, and here comes the multitude of further calls. And we bring this up not just to complain about it, which is fun to do, but there are mechanisms people can turn to. There's help for you. You could call the state's attorney general's office and report the number. If someone is calling you, as is in Kittitas County, that a loved one has been abducted and we want cash. They often ask for payment in the form of gift cards or wire transfers or cashier checks, things like that. And those are the kind of things that can be retrieved if you do fall victim to these and give them their money. If those type of scams come in you through text or through call, most of these are calls, but they'll text out initially and then say, call this number. We've got your loved one. They say immediately hang up and call 911. Call this. They don't want you to call the Attorney General's office on something like that. They want you to call 911. And again, this is targeted at the Hispanic community, the Spanish-speaking community. And I don't know how many of our listeners consider themselves in that community, are bilingual. Listen to the show because we don't simulcast in Spanish. It's just I don't know the language. I'm one of the vast majority of ugly Americans who knows only one language.
Donde está el baño? I think that's what I remember from my high school Espanol class.
I know Cabo San Lucas Spanish. Give me the check. Where's the bathroom? When's happy hour?
Biblioteca, anyone?
Yeah, right.
No, but the scammers and spammers, I think, are getting more creative and more expert in carrying out these schemes, too. So recently, my dad thought he was facing a scammer. He bought concert tickets, actually, for The Who coming up this fall.
Up in the fall, yeah.
But it was through a third party, right?
November, yeah.
And there's a million third-party companies out there that are selling tickets now, and it's hard to judge which ones are above board and which ones are kind of playing fast and loose with your money. And so he went to go download his tickets to his phone. I won't say what company it was, and I still think he might even be dealing with some of the fallout from this.
By the way, it's the legit site is not SchlubHub. There's your sign.
Yeah, right.
If you're trying to buy tickets from SchlubHub, you may be a victim of fraud.
But so he tried to get the tickets downloaded from the app to his phone, and it said, "Oh, your tickets have already been sold." but he hadn't gotten a refund. And he said,
Yeah.
wait, my tickets I purchased have been sold to someone else already.
Yeah.
And then so I heard him on the phone with this company. And it's amazing how authentic and sincere the person on the other line was sounding. But then you get these little cues during the conversation as to this might be fraud that we're dealing with here, Dad. And they wanted more money to get his previous money back. And I'm thinking, no. But it seemed like legit, just like the tone and the way that the customer service seemed like they were handling him. The whole family was like listening on speaker as he was dealing with it. And it was just astounding to me, the thought at how many people have been bilked out of cash through schemes like this.
You know, and the scammers have become so skilled.
So skilled.
You know, oftentimes you'll see.
They know the tricks, the human psychology.
And you'll see like what looks to be a valid website, whether it be for PayPal or Amazon or all these, you know, these websites you know so well, and logos, corporate brand logos you know so well. Oh, that must be real. It's legit. Looks good. But it's just one little intricate detail is changed because it's a scam. And I mean, we fell victim to a scam when I was in Europe. I've been trying to buy tickets to an event in Europe, and I was in Ireland, and it says check back regularly. Some tickets may become available through cancellation. I log on one morning. Oh, there it is. Boom. And all of a sudden, I just get the spinning wheel that doesn't stop. And I'm like, okay. And then my bank account's been hit. But I say that to say this: your best line of defense and recovery is your lending institution, your bank.
Yeah.
The bank we work with, who, by the way, has paid out zillions in restitutions for their own fraud. You know, I don't have to name them. We all know who they are. They run around town in a stagecoach. They have been wonderful about challenging fees, or, you know, charges, I should say. Challenging charges that are fraudulent. They investigate it. They keep you updated. And 100% of the times we have challenged fraudulent charges, we've had the money recovered and returned to our accounts. So always be wary.
Vigilant.
You know, vigilant. Don't ever. I'll tell you what. I had to pay a fee for Good to Go. You know, we have a Good to Go account, and we had let we had an identity fraud situation where we had to cancel our card, issue new cards. My Good to Go account didn't get updated, so that I was racking up fees, and I get something in the mail saying you're delinquent. Here's some penalties. Here's some late fees. And when I called to address, you know, to update my card information, and they, by the way, have a forgiveness, one-time forgiveness. If you ever get late fees and civil penalties through the Good to Go app, they have the option of a one-time forgiveness where we just paid the tolls, not the late fees. But as I'm waiting on hold, we get this recorded message. We are aware of the fraud on behalf of Good to Go. That was about a month and a half ago. The Good to Go fraud was everywhere.
I got those calls.
At one point, the whole newsroom was over the top of the desks. Who got the fraud from Good to Go? And everybody.
And text, too. They were doing text and voice message.
They were so close to what the actual company did. But it was a recorded message of Good to Go. We will never call you asking for money. So, I mean, that's how prevalent these frauds are.
It's a part-time job avoiding this crap.
Well, you know, everybody's got to eat, even crooks.
Yes.
And speaking of crime, let's get to the stats for real crime. This new study, and this is another story at Mine Northwest. They're doing bang-up work over there. Great people. They all dress so nicely, too, in the office. The FBI says they put out a crime report for 2024, is released this month, indicating the total amount of violent and petty crime within the United States. I think that's my phone. That's my phone. Oh, it's a Governor Josh Shapiro looking for donations. Once you give money to the Democratic Party, they never forget. So this report from the FBI ranked the best and worst cities for crime statistics in 2024. The 5 worst crime cities in 2 of the 3 categories provided, including total crime, violent crime, and property crime. And where do you think Seattle ranks? We're always talking about the city we love, but the problems that are obvious that we have and are in our face every day of our lives. Where do you think Seattle? You may have read the story, so
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Spoiler
text
alert.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
No, we
fourth,
are.
Right?
We are the 4th most violent city in Seattle, according to the FBI's crime statistics for 2024, and that is almost double the national average for violent crimes. It's per 100,000. It's a very per capita type, so you can get city size doesn't really play into the factoring.
Just outside the bronze medal on this one. Way to go, Seattle.
So
total crime.
We didn't make the podium.
Yeah, right. Total crime rate per 100,000 residents was 5,782, which is very high. Additionally, Seattle's total crime numbers in comparison to the national average were 172.9% higher. Okay, so we have the facts, and then we have to judge, has this been getting better? in recent months, the recent year. According to the Harrell administration, crime has gone down ever so slightly for the start of 2025. I think the long-term solution to this is a continual hiring of more and more deputies and patrols on the streets of Seattle.
Recruiting.
Violent crime isn't as high, but property crime is really through the roof around here. And so through July, the Seattle Police Department hired more than 100 new recruits, according to the Harrell administration. I think that's a positive sign. I personally worry, Spike, that if Harrell loses his reelection bid, those efforts will be stymied by the likes of Katie Wilson, who has previously called for a defunding of the police and fewer officers on patrols. Read her op-ed from PBS in the year 2020, where she wrote that there's a strong argument for simply disbanding police departments and starting over. I think this kind of disastrous reimagining of police departments is what has directly led to crime spikes in a lot of cities across America. So I worry come November here that some of the little strides and little gains we've made in terms of public safety in the last couple months or last couple years under the Harrell administration could go in the opposite direction. That's my personal view.
No, I share your view. And I was kind of shocked at the primary election results.
Yeah.
Given that Mayor Harrell was so far behind Katie Wilson in the primary. But when we get to the general, we talked about this when election day results were in for the primary.
Mm-hmm.
Election results or primary results specifically are often very much the extremes of the party. That's who gets out to vote in primaries, are the dedicated, the true believers of whatever political ideology you buy into. And when the general comes, it becomes a more moderate voting bloc. Very low turnout for the primaries. I think it was a foregone conclusion that these would be our two candidates. When we get to the general, I hope there'll be a more invested voting population in Seattle. And I hope that Mayor Harrell, while he's not a perfect candidate, I share your fears of the retro, hugs for thugs, mentality of Katie Wilson. And I'm sure she's a wonderful individual with the greatest intent and benevolent intentions all day long. I think campaigns should live on the streets for a few days before they decide what they think is the best interaction for law enforcement and the community. You know what? Set up your campaign headquarters at 3rd in Belltown, where we've seen just this rash of public drug use and crime and just almost unlivable conditions for the residents of the city. And you want to be mayor and talk about reeling in this police department. We have made strides. These crime numbers are disturbing. You can't, and it's not anecdotal when you got these kind of numbers. Jake and I often have these debates about, you can't argue the fact that crime stats are going down. We are headed in the right direction. Like you mentioned, we've got record numbers of recruiting. We've hired more officers. It's a nationwide shortage of law enforcement in this country. Seattle's not the only city suffering from this. We just voted out a Seattle City Council that seemed to be a little too understanding, if not pandering, to the criminal element with rights. It seemed for criminals getting a priority over rights for the residents subjected to these crimes. I think we've made a course correction there, started to take steps in the right direction. But again, even in the city council preliminary or primaries, we seem to be headed back toward we always tack with voting, with elections. We always tack back. We seem to go in one extreme to the next. That's politics in general. But I hope that we keep a common sense, middle of the road, moderate, making progress recovering from these. These stat numbers are just horrific. Part of it, a large part, as mentioned, is property crime in Seattle, which was car thefts. And I think that we can still blame the Kia boys for those insanely high numbers for 2-3 years in Seattle, where those auto theft numbers drove all the property crime, which plays into the total crime numbers that we're seeing here, drove them up through the roof.
It was nice to see that it appears that they've caught a suspect in that Macklemore theft case.
I saw that.
They raided some pawn shop there, which seems like a good thing for police to do, is monitor pawn shops constantly.
Yeah, never underestimate the stupidity of the criminal mind.
Yep.
That's how you'll go. I will take some comfort in this from the National FBI Research Crime Statistics. We rank 4th in the country for violent crime, for total crime. Portland came in number 2, so yeah, we ain't Portland. They ought to put
That's a low bar, my friend.
They ought to put that at the border of Seattle. Seattle, we ain't Portland. All right, we're off to a rockin' start. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Greg Tomlin filling in. When we come back, we'll talk to you a little bit about immigration. We're not going to get too deeply into the ideology of this administration, Trump administration's immigration policies, but when it affects our ability to fight local forest fires, like it did this week, we'll talk about it next. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When the weather changes, your home shouldn't be the one left unprepared. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We offer the strongest solutions in roofing, siding, decking, windows, and gutters, made for the Pacific Northwest. And right now, get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months or up to $3,000 off your next project. No gimmicks, no stress, just reliability you can count on. Visit stateroofing.com or call 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule your free estimate today.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Are you happy with how you feel these days? Are you slowing down physically or mentally? Ever wonder what your life will be like 10 to 15 years from now? Most of us don't really know how we're aging or if we can even do anything about it. But here's the truth. Knowledge is power, and that's exactly where we start at Longevity Medical Clinic. We run advanced diagnostics to find out what's really going on inside your body, and then we create a personalized hormone and health optimization plan designed specifically to help you live better starting now. Our patients are often amazed by what they discover in their blood work, and even more amazed at how quickly they start to feel like themselves again. This isn't guesswork, it's science, it's personal, and it works. Take the first step today. Call 866-86-YOUNG or visit LongevityMedicalClinic.com to schedule your free consultation. Longevity Medical Clinic. Feel better today and every day after that.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We live in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and owning your own deck is a great way to enjoy it.
but finding the right decking solution can be overwhelming. That's why all 9 of our Puget Sound locations offer decking showrooms so you can get your hands and toes on the more than 60 decking options we carry. So if you have any questions about building, maintaining, or repairing your deck, contact me personally. Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, your decking headquarters since 1907.
The 7500 EV tax credit expires on September 30th, so head to Carter Volkswagen, Subaru, or Acura today. Discover their great selection, discounts, and financing offers now on the 2025 ID4 or the all-new ID Buzz from Carter Volkswagen, the 2025 Solterra from Carter Subaru, and the 2025 Acura ZDX at Carter Acura. The tax credit is ending soon, so hurry into Carter Motors or visit them at carterseattle.com.
All for unleased vehicles only. Not all buyers will qualify. See store for details.
Save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch. The Trump administration is preparing to send federal officers to Chicago for a new immigration crackdown. The latest from CBS's Camille Montoya Galvez.
The administration has deputized law enforcement agents from the FBI, the DEA, and other federal agencies as immigration officers who now have the power to arrest, detain, and potentially deport people who are suspected of being in the country illegally.
Customs and Border Control this week arrested 2 firefighters fighting the Bear Gulch wildfire on the Olympic Peninsula. 42 others were escorted off federal land where the fire's burning. The federal government says it is no longer doing business with the contract companies that supplied the firefighters because of illegal activity it uncovered. The wildfire's now burning on more than 9,000 acres and is 13% contained. New data showed there's a growing shortage of construction workers, and ICE enforcement is getting some of the blame. Economist Ken Simonson with the Associated General Contractors of America says they can't get the federal government to approve more foreign-born workers.
The gridlock in Washington over this issue has really stymied our efforts for a long time.
Washington State lost 8,200 construction jobs just last month. A church makes a bold move after a grocery store shuts down in a Pittsburgh neighborhood. CBS's Christopher Cruz explains.
Tired of the instability that created a food desert, the Macedonia Church has signed an agreement to buy the property. Pastor Brian James Edmonds announced the news to his congregation.
We are entering into multi-million-dollar negotiations to acquire that store. Amen.
Edmonds said the church will look for a new grocer and will fill the remaining 6,000 square feet with other retailers and community services.
I believe that this land is for us.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
An estimated 148 million Americans are expected to travel this Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend is the last big hurrah of the summer.
Jim Moses with American Airlines there. The Transportation Security Administration plans to screen a record 17.4 million airline passengers over the weekend. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 104 points, NASDAQ off 253. Nate Connors is at the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Heather. If you're heading to the airport, as a matter of fact, the Airport Expressway has cleared out, but inside the airport, that's a different story. Tacoma to Olympia, already a struggle, taking you an hour and 25 minutes. There are no blocking problems, but it's quickly filling in through JBLM. Another backup between Lacey and Olympia. Heading over Tiger Mountain, eastbound 18, you're backed up over the Summit. Seattle to Federal Way is at 25 minutes, just a little crowding toward the south end of Boeing Field. Bellevue to Renton, 20 minutes, but it is heavy. South 405 from mid-Bellevue all the way down to northeast 44th and Renton. Both lake bridges are wide open. South 5 heading into Seattle is packed from Northgate to the Convention Center. Linwood to Seattle has climbed to 40 minutes. Eastbound 2, you're looking at scattered backups heading into Monroe and Sultan. I-90 heading over Snoqualmie Pass, though, looks great. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs in the lower 80s. It is 69 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Greg Tomlin sitting in for Jake Skorheim today. Welcome, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you here. Text messengers, very, very happy you're here, by the way.
We'll see. There's a lot of show left.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you just really just speak up and keep it authentic? Be yourself.
Foot and mouth incoming.
No,
Just wait for it.
No, not at all, my friend.
Thank you, Spike.
This next story should give us a chance to find out who the real Greg Tomlin is.
There you go.
You heard the story this week about a group of forest fighters, actually 2 of 3 forest fires crews that were mentioned in this story. 2 of the 3 were private contractors, and that is the onus of this, the reason we find ourselves in the predicament we're in. Immigration services, ICE, showed up at a staging location for, again, private contractor firefighting groups that were ready to take on, waiting for their supervisor to show up, waiting to take on the Bear Gulch fire over there on the peninsula. We can see the sunsets every day. They're beautiful. But again, this fire is 11% contained, 9,000 acres burning so far. Mostly they anticipate this fire won't be under control until October, when the rainy season gets here and nature takes its course and knocks this fire out. It's the terrain that makes it so difficult to fight. The crews that were on site there are mostly in... You know how firefighters work to protect wildfires. They cut fire lines. They take out potential fuel to keep fires from spreading. They build containment perimeters, and that's what these crews were waiting to do. There were reports that some of these private contractor firefighting crews may contain illegal immigrant laborers. So ICE showed up, asked the dozen or so firefighters in these 2 different crews that were waiting for supervision to tell them where to go and direct them into the forest to fight these fires. ICE lined everybody up and asked for identification. Turns out 2 of these people that were in these fire crews were without documentation. 1 had a removal order. 2 people were arrested, taken to a immigration detention center, I believe, in Bellingham. And that's where we find ourselves. Local lawmakers in Washington, of course, lost their minds in the way of Pramila Jayapal and Patty Murray and the like. And it's understandable to those who feel like the Trump administration's promise to fight illegal immigration was sold to us on the most dangerous. They're sending their worst. People here committing crimes. We keep hearing the specific displays of crimes committed by illegal immigrants, violent, dangerous, criminal, illegal immigrants. And that's what we were sold as a policy that this administration was voted in upon. So when you find a couple of guys who are working illegally, I'll give you that, but they're working to help put out forest fires.
And I think that's one of the reasons that this story is gaining so much traction, not just here locally, but even nationally in some outlets, is because of the optics of it. And you have individuals here, whether you want to call them undocumented or illegal, who are doing something that is pretty clear is helping the region they live in, which is fighting a fire. I mean, there's nothing more noble than that, trying to put out a fire. You know, we revere our firefighters and stuff. U.S. Border Patrol Blaine Sector Chief Patrol Agent Rosario Vasquez stated, quote, U.S. Border Patrol steadfastly enforces the laws of the United States and unapologetically addresses violations of immigration law wherever they are encountered. Had this not happened, you know, right there in the area of the Bear Gulch fire on the Olympic Peninsula, maybe we wouldn't be hearing about it as much, and the story wouldn't have gone out as far and wide. But yeah, this comes down to a fundamental discussion of, states' rights and the federal government's ability and their allotted powers to enforce immigration law. And it creates very valid and warranted discussions about whether or not the Trump administration has gone too far and whether or not actions like this pass constitutional muster. And again, if you look at a story like this and you don't like it, I mean, elections have consequences. And this, if I was president of the United States, this probably wouldn't be how I would go about enforcing immigration law. I would start with the worst of the worst and, kind of just be vigilant about those who are here and undocumented and are committing more crimes. But Trump has kind of signaled with his actions regarding enforcement that he's after any and all undocumented workers, and he prefers Americans have the right to a job to fight fires. And you can make a case that, these undocumented workers are doing jobs that Americans would otherwise fulfill. And he's going all out with this enforcement policy. I don't necessarily like it.
No, I hear you.
But what recourse do you have, Spike? I mean, can you sue the Trump administration over this? It seems to me to be a tough case to say that the federal government is not within its allotted powers to do something like this, whether you like the optics of it or not.
Well, there is the question of constitutional legality for these cases with regard to federalism and states' rights as opposed to, and I mean, it's the 10th Amendment, which dedicates all rights not specifically laid out in the Constitution to the discretion of each individual state. That's where we get into the sanctuary city policies of, I think we're one of 18 states in the country that have sanctuary city policies, sanctuary state policies with Governor Ferguson, and now the threatened withholding of federal funding if they don't comply with the Trump administration's definition of immigration policy from a national perspective. This administration likes to test the fences, test the boundaries of what federal executive power is, what federal jurisdiction is. Tom Holman, he's Homeland Security? Is that Tom Holman? Was promising this week that troops are coming. I should say, not troops. I don't want to misspeak because that's a whole different bag of snakes to lay out straight for you. That more ICE, an incredibly larger contingent of ICE immigration officers are coming to Washington to deal with our sanctuary state policies about immigration, where we find ourselves in the gray area of these people who are here as undocumented or illegal, depending upon your particular preferred vernacular. And if I'm misquoting this, I apologize, and I'd be happy to be corrected. It's my understanding that illegal, not entry so much, but illegal residency is a misdemeanor. To be here with the papers is not a felony in America. It's a misdemeanor crime. And deportation is not the prescribed punishment, if not remedy, for someone here is without documentation. And when you're talking about people, you say we covered this story particularly from a national perspective, let alone local, because it is firefighters doing the work that this community desperately needs. And you say that the Trump administration says, okay, we're kind of protect jobs for Americans who want these jobs. Not a lot of people lining up to go climb into the forest in 90-degree weather.
I have a lot of friends that have faced a lot of barriers into becoming a firefighter for one reason or another over the years. And
but they weren't because illegals were sitting in the firehouse.
I agree with you on that. No, absolutely. But I mean, where do we go from here, Spike? I mean, Trump's going to be around for another 3 years, and it seems like he's only gaining maybe. It could go beyond that.
I mean, God love him. I wish him all the best, but he's an older gentleman.
It only seems
he's not eating a lot of quinoa.
He's gaining momentum in areas where he thinks he has more power to exude his will.
Interesting.
At will.
Do you think he's gaining momentum, or do you think that the coverage and the self-aggrandizing proclaimants of the Trump administration says he's gaining momentum? Polling I'm seeing says the opposite.
Well, the analogy that I like to make is Trump is to our Constitution what Bill Belichick was to the NFL. Bill Belichick.
You're saying six more terms, 6 more rings for Trump?
Said, most people play within this range.
Yeah.
I'm going to test every single rule and regulation to try to exploit it. Because if I can gain an advantage, I will test the system and push it to its limits. And I think Trump is doing the same thing.
He is,
and he's saying, I'm going to try it.
Yeah. Do you think the system is in danger of fracturing, if not collapsing, given these constant testing of the limitations?
I think of William Wallace, a.k.a. Mel Gibson, in Braveheart, where he's got the line drawn and he goes, hold!
I was thinking more of William Wallace, who was tied to that wooden thing and yelling freedom as they
quarter him. Intestines are being drawn out. Okay, interesting.
Okay. When we come back, we're going to lighten the load a little bit here because it is Labor Day weekend. And it's one of the busiest travel weekends in the country. It's Seattle, by the way, the largest travel destination for Labor Day weekend in America, due in large part to our cruise ship industry here in Seattle. We'll talk about me because it's the Jake and Spike show, and Jake's not here. We'll have more about what I'm doing this weekend coming up next.
John Curley Show.
In-N-Out Burger, is that the ones with the old-fashioned 1950s hat on and stuff like that?
Weekdays 3 to 7.
They definitely used to. I don't know.
I think they still have that. They're incredibly courteous service. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, they're
second only to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, those people are so kind. You could, while you're waiting in line, they baptize your child. Spay and neuter people. Dogs, anyway, yeah.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different,
Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're in your car every day, but when's the last time your car had a checkup? At Subaru of Puyallup, we make it easy with stress-free service. Open 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Swing by before work, after work, or whenever it fits your schedule. No hassle, no pressure, just expert care on your schedule. Your car deserves it, and so do you. Schedule your appointment today at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance, blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, basically bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit IRGPT.com, IRGPT.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, windows can be one of the best investments you can make to add value to your home. At Dunn Lumber, we have designated Marvin window specialists who have been trained by Marvin to best serve your needs. If you need help finding the right windows for your home, come by one of our 4 Dunn Lumber window showrooms. Or reach out to me personally, Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building success together.
Thinking of a Kia EV? Act fast. Thousands in tax credits end September 30th. Visit KiaofEverett.com for our huge selection. Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
Hey there, Lori from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. Want to keep your home happy and prevent roof water damage? The answer is gutters. So if you're looking for gutter installation, cleaning, gutter guards, or repair, Guardian is here to the rescue. With Guardian's exclusive gutter and gutter protection systems, we are able to provide our own 30-year no-clog guarantee on all gutter systems we install. Call today and get $250 off a gutter guard installation or visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Spike O'Neill here with Greg Tomlin, Laura Scott, of course. And it is Labor Day weekend, and as you noticed, I'm sitting with a co-host. I do that quite a bit, and don't get me wrong, we all take an adequate and deserved amount of vacation in this industry, but I feel like I've been here quite a while this year. Haven't really taken any breaks, so I'm doing that. I'm heading back to the East Coast. I'm going back to my roots, see family, see friends, going to see the ocean, going to go to my stomping grounds of my teens and early 20 years, to Ocean City, Maryland, boardwalk town, beach family, fun town. I'm doing that for a couple of reasons, to just kind of rejuvenate myself as we make our final push into the end of 2025 and get into an election year in 2026. I say that because I'm going to go see my friends and family in Baltimore, and when I do, I can be completely honest, Baltimore's a town with problems. When we talk about Seattle and the crime rates in Seattle, Baltimore is notorious. It's been targeted by President Trump for a city that needs national help, federal help in fighting the crime in that city. In fact, the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, an up-and-comer in the Democratic Party, offered President Trump a chance to walk with me through the streets of Baltimore. And those two went back and forth playing some very, playful interactions on social media. Moore asked Trump if it'd be okay if you need a golf cart to tour the city, we'll bring one.
Well, and I think the question is, which streets of Baltimore are you going to go tour?
Thank you. No, thank you. And I'm going to go walk the city a little bit in Baltimore. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go unprotected in a dangerous. There's portions of every city you don't want to walk through. D.C., Baltimore, Chicago, Memphis, you name it. The cities blue and red both have dangerous sections of town. We could all do more to help our city fight crime. We dedicate the resources needed. That being said, I'm not really going back to walk streets of Baltimore. Right. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be careful. I'm going back to see my roots and see the beach. But one of the things I'm doing in this trip, specifically, I'm dedicating time to go find a young man who could be my long-lost son.
Really?
Have you heard this story?
I have not. No.
Okay. So last spring, I got a text from a friend, a mutual friend who was back in Ocean City, Maryland, said, buddy, I just met this guy, and I got to tell you, and nothing. I'm like, okay. It texted back, question mark, what's going on? I can't believe this guy. I was like, are you getting married? A guy sends me a picture of a random stranger he met in Ocean City, Maryland, and that is the kid. Greg, look at the screen there. That's the kid a friend of mine met in Ocean City, Maryland. And he thought he looked so much like me that's my true doppelganger, that my friend took a picture and sent it to me. Well, given I'm not sure how we didn't get any information about this guy, not his name, not his where he lives, where he's from, no backstory at all, just a picture. And it was so disturbing that this kid looks. And if you're joining us on the YouTube channel, you can see the picture of this young man randomly taken in a parking lot in Ocean City, Maryland this spring, and me at the same beach last fall. And you can tell that there is a striking resemblance between the two of us. And that'd be interesting and funny and kind of unique, except for the fact that this kid looks like he's probably in his early 40s. 40-some years ago is when I was a young, feeling my oats. Whippersnapper in that town as a bartender for 3 years, doling out liquor to, of age, attractive young tourists, visitors to the beach. So I don't know, if there's any city in the world that this kid could be mine, it's Ocean City, Maryland. Look at this kid.
Yeah, I mean, that is a striking resemblance.
Everything about that guy says.
And the nose, the cheeks, the hair color.
We have the same gap in our teeth. We have the same ears. We have the same smile. If I squint and smile like that, I look just like that. And we just sent a headshot to accentuate the physical features. But if we were to pan out, we would see that this clown's wearing a T-shirt that doesn't really flatter his belly. He's got a pair of too big Orioles shorts on. I mean, this kid's me. I am going back.
That's
wild. We reached out to the local radio station in Baltimore to try to find. There it is. Look at me. I dress like that 7 days a week. We reached out
genetics.
We reached out to the local the local radio station to try to, and they shared that picture trying to find this young man, but I have had no results. I've hit dead ends. There's a t-shirt he's wearing from a local bar. There's a bumper sticker on that truck from a local bar. I'm going in with that picture. I'm going to try to find this kid.
I mean, this is like movie script material. Mamma Mia, the Spike O'Neill edition, like Oh Mio Dio. I mean, you have to tell us what comes of that.
I'm bringing
if
a ball.
anything.
I'm bringing a ball and a couple gloves. We can have a toss. We can toss one back at a bar.
Just don't do your Kermit impression.
I'm not going to do my Kermit the Frog. If he does one, I'll know. But I want to find out who this guy is. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's got a wonderful mom and dad who love him like the Dickens. I don't want to bust up any families.
Yeah, wonderful adoptive family.
Yeah, maybe the kid doesn't know. Maybe the kid needs to know. We'll be coming back in just a few minutes. When we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about FEMA, because it's the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. We'll be right back.
The John Curley Show.
I told my wife once that you can tell the temperature outside.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You count the number of chirps that a cricket makes in 15 seconds, and you multiply that by 4, and that tells you the outside temperature. All right, you know what?
What kind of formulas?
I'm going to look it up. And you know what? You're going to be eating your words in there, Mr. Laffy, Laffy.
Okay. The John Curley Show. Weekdays 3 to 7. Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Goodbye, baseball. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
The Mariners' postseason push is on, and there's a whole new way to be part of the action. Introducing the Homestretch Flex Plan, a $500 membership that gives you the freedom to choose your games and seats for the rest of the season, all while saving 5% on tickets and no fees.
Strike 3 call. Triple digits to end it and complete the sweep.
You can use your credit however you want. Go big with club seats for a couple high-stakes showdowns, or stretch it out into the final series against the Dodgers. And the best part? Homestretch Flex members get priority access to our postseason pre-sale. That means you're first in line when October comes calling. The team is locked in.
J.P. Crawford! Game winner, walk-off fashion in the 9th inning.
And now it's time to bring the energy down the stretch. Come on board today at mariners.com/homestretch. Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. compliance. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves with Active Liver from New Nordic. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Christopher Cruz. It should be smooth sailing this holiday weekend, but there's one region meteorologist Grant Gilmore is watching closely.
Most of the country dealing with relatively calm weather. One area that we're watching specifically for heavy rainfall and that threat for flash flooding is going to be across the north central Gulf states, where we're seeing that heavy rainfall continue.
If you're planning a cookout, prepare to pay up for the slabs of meat you're going to slap on the grill.
Tom Bedway, he's the owner of Ronnie's Meats, and he's seen a price increase this year compared to last year.
Beef prices are higher than they've ever been, and that has a lot to do with the tariffs and importing and exporting with the beef. Pork is stable, but your steak meat is much higher than, and ground beef. Anything within the beef industry is a lot higher than usual.
Nevertheless, he says that people are still buying because it's a lot cheaper to cook than to go out.
That was WWJ radio reporter Charlie Langton in Detroit. Police are talking with family members of the person who shot and killed 2 children at a Catholic church in Minneapolis on Wednesday. Here's CBS's Nicole Skanga.
The obvious question for investigators, why had families not alerted law enforcement of these red flags? Now, the gunman's mother has retained a criminal defense attorney, and he told CBS News in a statement that she is completely distraught and has no culpability whatsoever. But Grace Westman is actually not the only one that investigators have sought out. CBS News has learned multiple family members are speaking with police and the FBI. That includes John Westman, the shooter's father.
Texas Democratic State Representative Trey Martinez Fisher is bitterly criticizing a bill signed by Governor Greg Abbott today that changes the congressional map to send 5 additional Republicans to the U.S. House.
Don't delete your emails. Don't delete your text messages, because that's where we're going to go next. You may win today, but we will have our opportunity in federal court.
A Republican U.S. Senator who was expected to run for a 3rd term has apparently decided 12 years is enough. Here's CBS's Jennifer Jacobs.
Sources tell CBS News that Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa has told confidants that she plans to reveal next week that she will not seek re-election in 2026. The senator's announcement is scheduled for Thursday, the sources said. Spokespeople for Ernst did not reply to requests for comment.
In New Orleans today, residents remembered what Hurricane Katrina did to their city. Mayor LaToya Cantrell.
On this day, 20 years ago, August 29, 2025, our city and our lives were forever changed.
The Dow closed down less than 0.25%. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What investigators found in their most recent search for accused killer Travis Decker. But first, Nate Connors is at the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Desk.
Yeah, hi, Heather. Subaru of Puyallup has our update. South 5 heading into Seattle already jam-packed from Northgate all the way to the West Seattle Bridge, where we just cleared a collision out of your way. Linwood to Seattle up to 50 minutes. North 5 is heavy from the Michigan curve in the downtown. Seattle to Everett looking good, 35 minutes. Bellevue to Everett also good at 40 minutes. South 405, though, is beginning to fill in between Canyon Park and Bothell. Once you reach Bellevue, 405 is packed from Southeast 8th through Factoria, but from there it thins out, but still crowded as you head into Renton. So Bellevue to Renton is going to take you 25 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, already an hour and 20 minutes. You've got a 5-mile thick backup through JBLM starting near Bridgeport Way, and then more slowing between Lacey and Olympia. Having your vehicle serviced is our stress-free promise at Subaru of Puyallup, with convenient service hours from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bosch.
We will not relent. We will not give up.
And investigators searching for the accused killer Travis Decker may have found a key clue. Bones discovered during a grid search this week around a campground where the bodies of Decker's 3 young daughters were found in June. He disappeared. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says right now they're working to determine if the bones are human or animal. Seattle police are investigating a hate crime at a Catholic school in the Magnolia neighborhood.
Seattle police officers say they found a swastika Wednesday painted on the side of Our Lady of Fatima Parish School with tar still wet to the touch. Discovered just a day after the deadly Catholic school shooting in Minneapolis, Detective Eric Munoz says their bias team is throwing everything at finding the suspect.
They need to be held accountable for their actions.
Police plan to send additional officers to the Magnolia School for the first full day of classes. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
People in Lake City say they've had enough with crime, drug use, and homelessness in that Seattle neighborhood. They say it's driving out business.
2 pharmacies, 2 banks, 4 or 5 different businesses, and now Fred Meyer closing.
City Council President Sarah Nelson says she hopes to reach a deal to keep the grocery store open. Kroger is blaming increased crime and regulations for its decision to close 6 Western Washington Fred Meyer and QFC stores. Sound Transit is billions of dollars over budget, and the agency just announced all of its ongoing projects will come with a heftier price tag. More from KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Ottley.
Board members blame inflation and rising costs out of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as uncertainty around tariffs and federal funding.
We don't really know what those impacts are going to be yet.
Thursday, the board moved forward on its enterprise initiative, a plan to identify where the agency can cut costs and increase its revenue. The final goal, update the system plan to make it affordable and in line with what voters wanted.
It's about 2 years behind schedule, but Sound Transit says light rail service to Federal Way will open December 6th. The agency says it'll take about 50 minutes to go from Federal Way to downtown Seattle. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies with highs in the low 80s today. Tomorrow, increasing sunshine with highs right around 80. Sunday, highs in the upper 70s under mostly sunny skies and back to 80 degrees on Labor Day. It is 69 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of the Jake and Spike Show. Greg Tomlin in today for Jake Skorheim. I'm Spike O'Neill. Laura Scott's with us, of course. It is the 20th anniversary, August 29th, of one of the worst disasters in American history, if not global history, with regard to natural disasters. I'm, of course, talking about Hurricane Katrina's decimation of the city of New Orleans. We all remember the footage, the devastation. Was it... Greg, you said how much money was the cost of that? $162 billion?
Billions of dollars, yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard a number, $162 billion it cost to restore Hurricane Katrina after the fact. And it's never going to become the city that it was. Laura's sharing some pictures for you folks who are joining us on the YouTube channel. If you haven't signed up yet for our YouTube channel, it's very easy to do. Go to mynorthwest.com, go to YouTube, just do a search for the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. You can find a link to the Jake and Spike Show there, and we can interact with you. You can watch what we do and the pictures that we share, and you can always interact with us on the chat feature of the YouTube channel or with the text line, 888-973-5476. We always appreciate your input. Hurricane Katrina was something that, as it unfolded in almost felt like slow motion, with the news of the storm hitting, the flood coming in, the rising waters causing the collapse of the retaining, levees. The levees
broke,
of Lake Pontchartrain, and the flooding of the lower 9th, I think it was, parish, lower 9th ward, and just the city being decimated. But more so than the natural disaster was the government response disaster of the Bush administration, and the 8 days it felt like it took for even initial relief contact and rescue to be delivered to reach the citizens of New Orleans who were gathered in the convention center, who were gathered in the Superdome, who were stranded on rooftops. Stories of people who literally had to seek refuge from the rising floodwaters, climbing in their homes into their attics and have to literally, chop holes through their roofs because even the access to the roof from outside was below the water levels. And this flood of Lake Pontchartrain, essentially it was the tidal surge from Hurricane Katrina, which was a Cat 5, I believe, by the time it hit New Orleans, and the release of the zillions of gallons of Lake Pontchartrain into the city made this toxic soup. It wasn't so much the floodwaters or the swiftly moving floodwaters we see in most flood disasters are rivers or floodwaters that are rising and quickly moving through an area. This was literally a toxic soup of contaminants, of deceased individuals, of you name it, of sewage. So the water itself was a dangerous place for citizens to be. They couldn't, but they did anyway, would wade through water. You remember photos of people, retrieving loved ones and rescuing total strangers, floating on coolers or doors or anything they could to bring people to these shelters, which were, again, the Superdome or the New Orleans Convention Center right down there in the French Quarter, both those locations. And the conditions inside these where no help was arriving for day after day after day. People with no sanitation services, no food resources. Communities were left to themselves to care for each other, which was wonderful to see us rallying as a population, as a country, neighbor helping neighbor. But that brings into the fact, what is the federal government's role in disaster relief? What is FEMA for? I mean, we all see the stories that whether it's a hurricane or it's the rains of the Carolinas or Kentucky or Tennessee, prior to the last election, and the criticism of the Biden response or the Trump response to Hurricane, was it Marie in Puerto Rico, and how much fun was made of Donald Trump going down there and performatively tossing paper towels to people who had lost everything to hurricane and flooding. And you, Craig, you made a point as we were talking about this in the pre-show, and it's not just about the Trump administration's stated goal to dismantle, if not reimagine, FEMA. The Trump administration has said they intend to make sure that they feel it should be, and it's a valid point of view, a state's responsibility and a state's right to care for its particular citizens in natural disasters. That states the Trump administration feels it shouldn't be the federal government's job to respond. And I feel completely different than that. I think we as a nation come to the assistance of our neighbors, no matter what state they're in. Whether it's wildfires in California, it's flooding in the coastal Carolinas, it's whatever it is, it's a river flooding in Texas. I want my resources, my dollars, going to the families of floods in the New England area during Sandy, wherever it is. I think a national response to natural disasters and emergencies isn't just the moral right thing to do. That's what government's supposed to do. And I don't think local jurisdictions have any way near close to the resources to respond to some of these events.
A lot to unpack there. And
I know, I tried to filibuster. We're almost out of time.
Lots of salient points there, Spike. Well said in many regards. Yeah, it's hard to believe we are 20 years to the day since the catastrophic and devastating Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast in New Orleans. Nearly 2,000 people died. Nearly 2,000. Yeah. Millions of people were left homeless. And over 2 decades, we really haven't seen anything like that since, despite,
we've had our share
on the East Coast and tornadoes and so on and so forth.
Communities wiped out by tornadoes, flooded away.
In many ways, Hurricane Katrina is still unparalleled in so many ways. And like you said, $161 billion in damage, which is hard to fathom. And so I'm always fascinated by big historical events. And as we gain more distance from them, how we look back and interpret everything that happened. I think a lot of things changed because of Katrina, and I think the political angle to all this is very fascinating. in light of what the Trump administration is trying to do to FEMA now, and whether that's a reimagining of it or a complete dismantling of it remains to be seen. I know the Trump administration has said that it's in favor of issuing block grants to certain regions when catastrophes and calamities hit, which is sort of interesting and actually a proposal that I can kind of get behind. You mentioned kind of the vitriol that was directed at George W. Bush right after Katrina, and the biggest criticisms of him at the time were the notion of a slow response. And a famous rapper, hip-hop artist, infamously, I think you can say.
I haven't thought about yes,
Yeah,
Kanye.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Oh.
There it was, the comment heard round the world.
And this was for a nationally televised Katrina relief benefit show.
And I can
on
still see
network television.
Mike Myers' face
Right.
standing next to him with the eyes glazed over look, or the deer in the headlights look, going, what is happening right now? Yeah. Maybe that should have been our first cue as to the notion that all is not well with Kanye West, and we need to watch this guy a little bit closer.
I think it may be his last salient moment, but go ahead, go on.
Think about this in context. I mean, George W. Bush, his presidency had become rather polarizing by this point, because this was after 9/11, 4 years after 9/11,
Yeah.
and we were into the Iraq War. I think this might even been the height of the Iraq War, 2005,
Probably
right?
so. Yeah, about 4 years into it, he had won an overwhelming re-election.
Yeah,
he had been because he had justly been the unifier in chief after 9/11. I would say, and I'm not a Republican. When he rallied America, this is how we respond. This is the best of us. How we respond to a national situation like 9/11. And he wins sweeping over re-election.
Yeah. But okay, so you said something interesting, and I want to posit this notion to you that it might be contradictory, actually, because if the criticism of George W. Bush at the time was the federal response is too slow, I actually think that's a case for why FEMA should receive less funding and more disaster relief should be done at the local level, because local and state governments are best suited to handle state and local calamities. And it's precisely because a bloated federal bureaucracy is not well suited to get in there right away and address the problems immediately that are facing the people who have had to endure the catastrophe. And let's try to agree on one point right at the outset here as we continue this discussion: is
that everything should go across Kristi Noem's desk for a signature
100%. No.
Don't get me started on that.
And that is, okay, here's the common ground before the debate begins. And the common ground is we both want to find ways, whether left or right, to address horrific disasters like this in a better way.
Care for our neighbors.
Yeah, care for our neighbors.
Yeah. That's got to be human core belief.
Yeah, and so we both agree we're looking for the same outcome, which is like,
I like this.
How do we address it quickly, adequately, and mitigate some of the most horrific outcomes that might otherwise happen with a lackluster response? Okay. Now, the part of disagreement might come when we ask, okay, then what's your proposal for policy or the best institution to handle that response? And I still find it hard to believe that money sent to Washington, D.C. and a federalized department can best handle something that happens in Washington state. God forbid some earthquake happens here. Local and state responders, to me, seem best suited to do that. And best empowered to do that because we're the people that live here.
Yep. Okay.
And so if you're going to say, well, George W. Bush's response was too slow and inadequate and it took too long, well, maybe I partially agree with that and say that's why it should be handled more regionally and less by the federal government. I think Ron DeSantis does this fairly well in Florida. And people could take an example from him on how he deals with hurricanes that happen regularly in Florida. And I still don't see how it's my job to support disaster relief. It's thousands of miles away when I don't live there. I don't know those people. I haven't chosen to live there. Why should my money through FEMA go to helping people in Florida that face hurricanes every year?
You said that it would be government block grants.
Yeah.
Dedicated to this. That's still your tax dollars.
Yes.
Whether the government sends, equipment,
It's a better system that exists now. It's a step in the right direction, in my view. But
that's assuming all states will have the adequate equipment, personnel, resources on hand to do these things. I mean, the Biden administration, whom I'm a fan of, I thought they did good work. He wasn't the worst president in American history, despite Fox polling. Would send resources, equipment, food, water, heavy equipment ahead of predicted natural disasters, forecasted hurricanes or whatever it may be ahead of time. I don't think states have the resources from a physical standpoint, from equipment, from manpower, from food, water, whatever. The government can send those things. Government can stockpile those things, and it's not just government. We have to vote on it in Congress, send money, yada yada yada. One of the executive power has been very much in question these days. But I think the president's ability to determine what a natural disaster is and immediately put resources available to people. If you can look back at I'm going to keep playing the Biden card, but when a natural disaster hit in the red states of the Southeast or the state of Florida, Biden was on the phone. Whatever it is you need, I don't care what it is, the government is going to be there for you. Federal government resources are at your disposal. Very, very quick to call and say whatever the government can do for you. And maybe block grants is a better way to do it. Maybe and if the states already have the resources on the ground to do these procedures, these rescues, these reimbursements. I mean, cutting everybody in the state of Kentucky or Tennessee or Georgia or North Carolina a check for $1,000 day one, so they can buy immediately food, baby supplies, whatever it might be. That's something the federal government can do instantaneously, and they often do. I think it's your criticisms are valid and warrant examination and discussion. I think a lack of proper management might be the culprit, not a broken system of federal oversight. I think when done well, when managed correctly, a national organization like FEMA works seamlessly. We don't even notice. Things just get done. It's the mismanagement of these moments from these organizations that draw our attention, draw our just criticism, and ask us if there's a better. It's always good to seek a better way to do this. Like you started by saying, we all seek the same thing. Relief and support of our fellow Americans.
Do you also think Katrina was a turning point in terms of how we view the head of the executive branch and their role in a regional national disaster? Because I really think ever since, you saw those famous pictures of Bush, I think, in Air Force One looking down
out the window
at how awful everything
Laura
was.
shared it a moment ago. Yeah,
that I think at that moment, and then for the preceding 20 years, we've sort of believed in the American consciousness that our president not only needs to be commander-in-chief, but also consoler-in-chief. I mean, say what you will about what Trump did when he went to Puerto Rico and tossing the paper towels like he was shooting hoops.
Couldn't find that photo on the internet, by the way. Ironic. Couldn't find that one. That's been scrubbed.
I don't necessarily think we need to have a president turn up physically in every area around the United States when a calamity hits. I don't think that's one of their main responsibilities, is to go down and say, hey, Uncle Sam is here to help. The big federal government is on the case. I want more, state handling of this stuff. I want more governors out there. I want more, a president can issue a statement, we're with you in solidarity and I'll be around if they need any help. But I think the expectation of the American mind is not like, why hasn't Biden been to that train disaster? And then come on,
I hear
guys.
You. Give me a break. It's stuff done.
That's what
that's
my
interesting.
visceral
You
reaction
found
is.
it, Laura. You found it. Look at that form. By the way, nobody gives this man credit enough for his athletic prowess, President Trump. Look at that form. I've watched enough college basketball to know that's how you shoot a basket.
But I think the whole thing is stupid. He shouldn't be in there in the first place, and then throwing out paper towels is even dumber.
Let me counter that, because politics are local. Everybody votes Everybody votes for how can this president, this governor, mayor, county executive, how can they make my life better? So when people are at their lowest moment, the worst thing that could possibly imaginably happen to them, everything's lost in a flood or a fire burns your city to the ground. A lifetime is just taken away in a flash. To have the guy you voted for there on site saying, look, it might be coy, but I feel your pain. I'm here for you. The guy, and to not just issue a statement, but to be on the ground saying, the federal government is going to be here for you. We're going to have your back. I think there's a lot of value in that, especially when people see, what is this guy going to do for me? When the president goes there, I'm with you. 20 car motorcade coming through, sucking up all the hotel rooms, all the resources, stopping traffic is a real intrusive
in the midst
pain
of a disaster.
It's the last thing some of these people need. And I guess there's a way, again, back to my point about proper management. There's a way that these benefits of, hey, I'm here, I care enough to come and see for myself. Sometimes presidents got to get on the ground and see how bad things are to understand. President Trump, not to be banging on, but I haven't done it in 10 minutes, and I've got to quote him, has denied a disaster response to both red and blue states because he hasn't gone on the ground. He hasn't seen communities that have been just devastated by tornadoes, by fires, by floods. And all those instances can be easily laid out for this administration. In the current iteration, only 7 months in, they've already denied federal resources where governors have to file appeals. Arkansas, his chosen former press secretary, the governor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders of Arkansas, was denied warranted federal disaster relief.
I'm old enough to remember, as I know you are as well, Spike, back to the days where Bill Clinton saying, I feel your pain, was a punchline. And the reason it was because the words rang hollow, and it was empathetic virtue signaling and a placating of certain situations. Just try to show, I'm right there with you in the pain and in the suffering.
You say it was a punchline for your side, maybe, because on my side, he spoke to us. He got us. And of course, he was a BDS artist to the nines. Again, who knows what lady he was saying that to in what particular back room? I don't know. But the guy connected with people, but that was my point about how we vote for a politician for what he can do for us personally.
And back to the Katrina thing, it still is just fascinating that we continue to feel the impacts of it today. I know the people who experienced it firsthand in New Orleans, it's a different level of impact.
Yeah.
What I'm saying nationally is there's still been lots of implications that have drawn out over 20 years that we're still wrestling with.
And we still politicize every response from every politician. Great job. We'll be right back, folks. When we come back, we're going to talk about summer camp. And is it a returning trend among families? Kids going to summer camp? Did you get to do it as a kid? I know, Greg, you did. You didn't? I did. Laura did. It's a part of life. We're going to talk about it next. Don't go anywhere.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
The John Curley Show.
I told my wife once that you can tell the temperature outside.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You count the number of chirps that a cricket makes in 15 seconds, and you multiply that by 4, and that tells you the outside temperature. All right, you know what?
What kind of formulas?
I'm going to look it up. And you know what? You're going to be eating your words in there, Mr. Laffy, Laffy.
Okay. The John Curley Show. Weekdays 3 to 7. Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Hartley and Brent Wilcox talking about Wilcox Family Farms.
Dad, I've really enjoyed all the community events we've been doing. One question I get asked a lot is, how long has our family had the farm? When I tell them since 1909, they're surprised. Why do you think that is?
I imagine it's because that's a long time, and many farms have been bought by big corporations that put profits first.
Growing up on the farm, I feel like we put people and the well-being of our hens first.
We do, and as you know, free-range and mobile pasture hens have organic soil to forage and do what they naturally would do. This takes more time and money, but it's the right thing to do. It's better for the hens and makes for great tasting eggs.
I agree. Here is Mike to tell you where you can find locally fresh Wilcox Family Farms eggs.
For fresh, local, pasture-raised, omega-3, hard-boiled, and other fresh eggs, choose Wilcox Family Farms. Look for Wilcox eggs at Safeway, QFC, and PCC Natural Markets. Wilcox Family Farms.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine, and you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
We live in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and owning your own deck is a great way to enjoy it. But finding the right decking solution can be overwhelming. That's why all 9 of our Puget Sound locations offer decking showrooms so you can get your hands and toes on the more than 60 decking options we carry. So if you have any questions about building, maintaining, or repairing your deck, contact me personally. Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, your decking headquarters since 1907.
The $7,500 EV tax credit expires on September 30th, so head to Carter Volkswagen, Subaru, or Acura today. Discover their great selection, discounts, and financing offers now on the 2025 ID4 or the all-new ID Buzz from Carter Volkswagen, the 2025 Solterra from Carter Subaru, and the 2025 Acura ZDX at Carter Acura. The tax credit is ending soon, so hurry into Carter Motors or visit them at carterseattle.com.
All for unleased vehicles only. Not all buyers will qualify. See store for details.
Hey, college students, get 5% off at Safeway with your student ID in the app. With Fresh Pass, save on produce and enjoy free delivery. EBT users get additional savings. Visit Safeway.com/4U. That's FOR and the letter U.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Federal officers are now preparing for an immigration crackdown in Chicago. Multiple reports saying this could involve hundreds of Homeland Security officials. Speaking yesterday, White House Border Czar Tom Homan also put other cities on notice.
Portland, Seattle, all these sanctuary cities that refuse to work with ICE, where we know public safety threats are being released every day into this country, especially those cities, we're going to address that.
Justice Department has threatened to sue Washington governor for not complying with ICE. Bob Ferguson has pushed back, saying the state's policies are legal. A court battle now underway that could reshape presidential power over the central bank. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is seeking an emergency injunction to block President Trump's attempts to fire her. CBS's Aaron Navarro reports.
There was no decision during that hearing in federal court in Washington, D.C. earlier today. And as of now, Lisa Cook is still listed as a member on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors.
No president has ever removed a member of the Federal Reserve. The Justice Department argues Cook is being fired for cause, alleging she committed mortgage fraud. Now the closing bell reports. During one of the busy holiday weekends for road trips, you are paying more for gas than you did last year. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon.
AAA says on average a gallon in King County will cost you $4.65, a little less in Pierce County, and a little less than that Snohomish County at $4.36.
And AAA says gas prices statewide are about 27 cents higher compared to a year ago. Seattle's Queen Anne neighborhood, it just got a little bit sweeter. Popular ice cream chain Salt and Straw opened its newest location today. The business first opened as a simple food cart in Portland back in 2011. Today, Salt and Straw has 50 locations across 7 states. Losing day on Wall Street to round out the week. The Dow down 92, S&P off 41. The NASDAQ slipped 250 points. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 1:34. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Tell you what, if you're headed to the coast for the weekend right now, that South 5 drive between Pierce and Thurston counties is quickly filling in. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour and 15 minutes. So you've got a 5-mile bumper-to-bumper backup already through JBLM starting near Bridgeport Way, and then more slowing between Lacey and Olympia starting near Marvin Road. That's another 6-mile backup. Southbound on the Valley Freeway is heavy now from Highway 18 into Sumner. Over toward Tiger Mountain, eastbound 18 is packed heading over the summit. Renton to Bellevue on 405 is going to take you a half hour. Heavy volumes from mid-Bellevue down to Northeast 44th there near the VMAC. South 5 heading into Seattle, you're jam-packed from Northgate down to Mercer. Linwood to Seattle's up to a 55-minute commute. South 5 is crowded just past that from the West Seattle Bridge down to mid-Boeing Field as we recover from an earlier collision down there. And eastbound 2 right now, you've got a couple backups, one heading into Monroe, and then again another 2 to 3 mile backup heading into Sultan. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Clouds and sun breaks today, highs topping out right around 80 degrees. A beautiful holiday weekend in store each day, and it'll be dry with highs right around 80. Right now, 72 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Spike O'Neill with Greg Thomas, the Jake and Spike Show. Jake Skorheim started his Labor Day holiday a little early, so Greg's doing this the honor of filling in today. And with this story came to us from the Seattle Times, and it's the loss of a treasured institution, resource, memory for a lot of people. It's a YMCA summer camp over at Lake Wenatchee Y Summer Camp on Lake Wenatchee. It's going to close its doors after nearly 100 years. Been in business since 1927. And they cite a long problem that's been building year after year after year. 10 years ago, they saw that this was a feasibly unviable entity to continue forward unless they looked at how things were going. And they cite camp enrollment being down year over year over year. The last 2 years, they've averaged about 40%, 43% occupancy from the kids at camp. It can host a minimum or a maximum of 500 kids. We're talking about week-long programs over, I think, a 6 to 8 week period, July and August of the summer months on the lake for a week on Lake Wenatchee. But enrollment's down, costs of running the camp, from everything from maintenance to counselors. Costs of counselors for the camp have gone from $33,000 a year, less than 5 years ago, to $90,000 a year. Couple that with loss of federal funding, loss of state funding. The state ended their No Child Left Inside program this year, was pretty much the death sentence for not just this camp, but other camps like this. And the Y says they have to sell this. They're going to sell the property. There's a last-minute effort from alumni to try to find a mechanism to maintain and sustain this resource and this legacy treasure in the Northwest, but it doesn't seem viable to even the most ardent supporters. If they don't close it now, it's going to be someday soon. And what they've decided to do is close the camp and sell off the properties for lakefront personal residences to the tune of $1 million a lot. And the Y does say they'll use that money to then fund other outdoor and YMCA resources for families. But losing something like this, it's just a passage of time?
Yeah,
changing
it's
of the
a
guard?
shame, and is it a sign of the times? And I know for a fact that there are other summer camps hurting around the area, so I wonder if there's just also been a cultural shift in addition to the problems with funding and enrollment. It was striking to me to see how relatively fast this decline in enrollment happened. So total camper count at this camp in Wenatchee peaked in 2018 at 472 kids, and now it's hovering around 290, 300. And so the pandemic did play a role in this, and that big reset button that happened on society. And we were all isolated and put in homes. And I think a lot of the population had developed new habits.
I think stuck
quite
in homes,
frankly.
not put at homes.
Put at home.
Stuck
at
in
home.
homes.
I don't know. Put at home.
I don't know. A lot of us might have been beneficial.
Semantics.
Yeah, no. I think you never have any accents.
But in many regards, it's a bummer. I speak as a parent. Like growing up, I was never, if memory serves me correctly, I don't think I ever went to summer camp, but my wife did.
Yeah.
Summer after summer, and has the fondest memories of camp. So of course, when our kids are of camp going age, happy wife, happy life. I said, okay, I'm not a huge fan of summer camp, but I'll let the kiddos go. And they've been very fundamental and formative experiences for our kids. They go to a little Bible camp near Leavenworth, and they've had a wonderful time. But I have to tell you, I've had more apprehension in this day and age of sending my child to summer camp. And you know why? I'm a broken record on this. I think you can guess what I'm about to say.
Why?
Smartphones.
Yes,
Some camps say leave the smartphone at home, can't bring them. I'm all in favor of that. I love that. Some camps do allow smartphones. And then in that case, if you're a parent, you're saying, okay, if I have stricter guidelines for my child and I just send them away for a week or two, where there's going to be ubiquitous smartphones from fellow 13, 12, 14-year-olds. I mean, you can't control what your kid is going to see, what they're going to be subjected to at night in some cabin. I mean, in a second, they could see beheading videos or pornography and just be exposed to God knows what. And so, I don't know, some people might argue, well, that's helicopter parenting. I'm not so sure. We live in a very, very different time, Spike, where a lot of safeguards for our children have just gone by the wayside, and we have no idea how to control the digital spaces in our children. And so, yeah, summer camp's a big thing for the last 100 years. I hate to think that they're going to be going away permanently. But I don't know. It seems to be the trend right now, unfortunately. I don't think this is just a one-off thing with this Wenatchee camp here. No, I think enrollment is down across the board on a lot of camps.
I think you're right. Now, I've got a couple really burning questions. First off, how do these camps have better Wi-Fi coverage than my house does, that these kids are on their phones at night? And why are you letting the enemy in? That's, I mean, you talk about not just the untoward content these kids could be made available to them and unsupervised Wi-Fi access in a cabin somewhere with a bunch of other kids who knows what their home lives are like. But you talk about a cultural shift away from outdoor recreation, outdoor activities, paddling, archery, woodworking, burning, whatever it might be. I think, and the pandemic kind of, like you said, we were all on our screens, locked in our homes. And it was that shift of what kids' attention spans crave, what their brains are seeking, what kind of dopamine hits they're getting. They don't get it from looking at pine cones anymore. Maybe I'm an old man, but now they get it on screens. Why are you letting the screens into the camp? I mean, why would any camp allow screens at all?
Nightmare.
It makes me crazy.
But the upside to camp is if they're tightly observed and kids can't bring in phones and all the volunteers have strict background checks, they can be such a healthy place for kids to continue to develop, to where they get a little taste of independence, a little taste of individual responsibility, and a little taste of kind of experiencing new things. I mean, it could be as simple and as trivial as if you have a kid that's sort of like a picky eater.
A little taste.
There you go. Literally, you send them away to camp for a week, and they're in a new environment where they actually get little to no say about what they're eating on a weekly basis.
Outside in fresh air, wonking around all day. They'll eat anything.
They're hungry, right?
Anything in front of them.
And they might not like spaghetti and meatballs, but if that's the only thing on the menu, it's like you're either going to eat or not eat. And so it's amazing
the peer pressure,
us.
Every other kid at the table scarfing it down.
There you go. Yeah. Right. And that's the positive aspect of peer pressure, right? It's amazing to us. Our kids have come home and I'm like, oh, you eat this now? You eat this now?
Right.
But it's just that little great developmental tool, camp, for a little kid to be in a different setting with different adults who are responsible to try new things, experience new things, and go, hey, I can do this on my own. I can make choices without my parents hovering over me constantly.
The metaphor of expanding horizons.
Yes.
It's amazing. I was a camper kid. I know, Laura, I know you were a camp kid.
And a camp counselor.
They come home better, different, more independent, more developed, more grown after just a week. I hope that
there's a turnaround.
That summer camps, or at least some are allowed to go on, and we can support them and use them and benefit from them in our kids' lives. All right, folks, we will be right back. When we come back, we mentioned in the news the Travis Decker discovery, some new what they feel may be evidence unveiled. Greg, you mentioned about your kids in camping. They went camping up near where these FBI agents had things on lockdown. It was a little worrisome for you?
I had to let go and let God on that one.
We'll talk about it next. We'll be right back.
The Closing Bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Summer in the Puget Sound region. Hanging at the beach. A nice coffee on a long walk with the pooch. And so much time sitting in traffic every weekend, literally going nowhere.
We've all felt it. Big construction projects are underway across the region, and I can help you get around the big delays.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru. Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Most roofers around here give you one option. Two if you're lucky. Asphalt shingles and maybe metal. That's like going to a restaurant and the only thing on the menu is salad. Sure, there are a few kinds, but they're all pretty much the same, and none of them will keep you satisfied for long. I'm Jim Singletary, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, and we serve up real choices. Yeah, we do asphalt shingles, sure, but what about something more substantial, like EuroShield rubber tiles that last a lifetime? Or a beautiful, durable metal roof that can handle Seattle's weather like a champ. We even install cedar shake, stone, copper, and walkable rooftop decks. Most roofers stick to what's easy. At RoofSmart, we offer what's best for you. Now, those are what we call options. For anything is possible roofing, call RoofSmart at 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com today. That's 206-487-4877 or online at GetRoofSmart.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Help create a future with no more drunk driving victims. Join Molly Shin and the Davis Law Group for Move with MAD, September 13th at Red Square. Central Plaza on the UW campus. Move with MAD raises awareness and funds to help end drunk driving and prevent underage drinking. Every step taken and every dollar raised can help keep our families and communities safe. Sign up to walk or join the team at madwashington.com. Move with MAD, September 13th on the UW campus. Register today.
Hey, it's Lori from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation with exciting news. We now offer K-Guard gutter system. Say goodbye to clogged gutters and hello to less maintenance. These top-of-the-line guards are exclusively available only at Guardian. K-Guard is designed to keep debris out, and their durability means they look great year-round without rusting or warping. Ready for hassle-free gutters? Protect your home with Guardian. To learn more about Guardian's exclusive K-Guard gutter system, call today or visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com.
Having your vehicle serviced is our stress-free promise at Subaru of Puyallup, with convenient service hours from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. Schedule now at SubaruofPuyallup.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Jake and Spike Show with Greg Tomlin. You've heard in the news today and you heard all week that the FBI had taken some steps to close off camping areas, access roads in the Leavenworth area in regard to searching, evidence gathering from the FBI's description in regard to the Travis Decker case, the triple homicide that led to the death of his daughters. When the story broke, there was a lot of questions about why the intense, right now, massive 100-person on-the-ground grid search of what was, I think, over 247 acres, a million square,
a million square meters.
Yeah, 1 million square meters of coverage from the FBI in this. And you've also heard today that they feel that they know that some bones were recovered in this intensive search. They're analyzing those now to see what they can tell us. What we've learned is that, we speculated wildly when the story broke that they were closing down these areas. Was there a tip? Was there something that they knew now that they had to act on immediately? But and our own Luke Ducey has done amazing reporting on this story, so much so he's been used nationally, his reporting, is that the FBI knows that this case may take years before there's any kind of resolution. And what they did in the last couple of days, the 2-day search of this area, as Greg mentioned, 1 million square meters of search, was this intensive grid search to just gather evidence that if this case does take years, they're preserving evidence of what we feel like is a pretty clear-cut, open-dried, shut case, cut and dried case against Decker. They want to make sure they've got all the evidence that would be lost to time as winter moves in.
Right.
There were bones discovered on this grid search. It shows you how quickly things nature can take its toll on evidence.
Absolutely. And it's been months and months now.
It's been 3 months or more.
These murders. And I used to watch a show called The First 48. Did you ever hear of that?
I did, yeah.
And the premise was basically, if you don't have any strong leads or catch the perpetrator or suspect within the first 48 hours of a murder or homicide, it becomes just almost impossible.
Exponentially difficult.
Exponentially more difficult. And you're exactly right here. As the weather begins to turn here, I just feel like more and more dead ends are going to come up. So I'm up at the FBI.gov's official website right now. It just reads kind of vaguely in generalization, search personnel recovered several items that are being examined to determine if they are related to the investigation. CBS National News has a story. FBI recovers potential evidence. I mean, I urge caution here. I guess, a lot of us want to be optimistic that there is some there here, but it's lacking any real specifics at this point.
Well, again, it seems like they're just dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure that everything
no
is
stone left unturned, literally.
Yeah, quite literally. But I mentioned before the break when we were talking about summer camps and our kids' experiences, and you had mentioned that your kids went to camp this year in that area, and that gave you genuine concern.
Within a few square miles. And I thought, oh, well, that's at the top of my radar. And part of me was thinking, I hope he's fled to Canada at this point or has been eaten by some wild animal.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know. And so as a kind of, you could say, overly protective dad, I thought, man, do I want to cancel summer camp for my kids this year just because of the remote possibility that Travis Decker might be within 10 miles of them or something like that?
I don't think that's being overprotective or helicoptering or paranoid even, because they just closed this area down.
Right.
And the fact that nothing has come of this guy, we don't know. There's no closure. There's no guarantee of safety that this broken person isn't still out at large somewhere, potentially in the area, potentially a danger to our loved ones. I think I can't imagine I wouldn't feel any different than you. When my kids scheduled going to a camp in that area. Usually summer camp, you worry about what? Snake bites, bee stings, an over-aggressive member of the opposite teen sex who's going to teach your kid what second base feels like. That's what you're supposed to worry about when your kids go to summer camp.
I have to tell you, Spike, and I know you can relate to this. One of the hardest parts about being a parent is making decisions upon which hill you want to die. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Because you don't. I have two. You have the angel on my left shoulder, the devil on the right shoulder, whatever kind of analogy you want to make.
That's perfect.
Where I'm saying, how much do I restrict the freedom and how much do I go? No. As you get older, the more and more I have to let you go. And I have to say, I'm not going to be able to protect you at every single turn. And so this time, I'm going to grant you the freedom to do that. I might not like it. In my protective dad brain, I'm saying that's too big of a risk for you to take at this age. And at the same time, I got to go, that's the natural course of things, is that I'm continually, gradually letting go.
And it's every day we're faced with a moment like this as a parent with a kid who's becoming an independent little citizen. They're entering their teen years. They're becoming their own person. And I think our parents released us into maybe a safer world than we're releasing our kids into.
I agree.
With regard to potential dangers. You talked earlier about your kid going to camp and having their phone access was the most dangerous thing you could think about at camp. I'm with you, buddy. You're not paranoid. You're just a good dad. Greg Tomlin sitting in for Jake Skorheim today. We're very lucky to have you, man. We're very lucky to be in where we are and doing what we're doing. When we come back, it's going to be Friday Favorites, our biggest stories of the week. And Greg, I know you haven't been here all week, but I'm sure there's a story that either we covered or you found that we want to bring to this.
Oh, I've got some ideas.
Great. We'll have those next for you. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Greg Tomlin filling in. We'll be right back.
John Curley Show.
In-N-Out Burger, is that the ones with the old-fashioned 1950s hat on and stuff like that?
Weekdays 3 to 7.
They definitely used to. I don't know.
I think they still have that.
Yeah,
they're
probably.
incredibly courteous service. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, they're
second only to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, those people are so kind. You could, while you're waiting in line, they baptize your child, spay and neuter people, dogs anyway. Yeah.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Have you stopped to think about how you feel today compared to 10 years ago? Are you noticing changes? Less energy, slow recovery, trouble focusing, maybe even weight gain? What if you could turn back the clock and feel stronger, sharper, and more alive? At Longevity Medical Clinic, we help people do exactly that. For over 3 decades, we've been helping thousands of men and women find out what's really going on inside their bodies and take action to feel better and live longer. With advanced diagnostics and personalized hormone and supplement plans, we uncover what's been holding you back and show you how to optimize your health. Our patients often say, "Now I finally understand what's happening and what to do about it." Take the first step. Call 866-86-YOUNG or visit longevitymedicalclinic.com to schedule your free consultation. Longevity Medical Clinic. Feel better. Live longer. Let's do it together. Call 866-86-YOUNG.
It may be the most noble profession.
Come on.
It's the work of heroes.
Heroes?
You want to live without plumbing?
Well, no.
Then you need plumbers.
Right.
Thing is, so do I.
You need plumbers.
Smiles, actually.
Smiling plumbers?
Or someone who smiles and wants to become an Apollo plumber.
A smile. That's what it takes?
Skills are something we can teach.
Sure.
But a positive attitude comes from within.
That's a big part of being an Apollo plumber.
The biggest part.
What else?
A desire to learn and serve.
Just like every Apollo plumber.
As they learn, so shall they earn.
Earn?
Apollo plumbers can earn 6 figures.
Enough to make me smile.
We believe you get what you give.
Give a smile.
And Apollo service.
Get a smile.
A well-paid smile.
Driving one of those big blue Apollo trucks.
That's the goal.
Does seem pretty noble.
It's important, satisfying work.
And you're looking now?
There's always room for another smile around here.
On the Apollo Plumbing team.
Apply at apolloplumbing.com.
Eric Butler here, General Manager at Kia of Everett. This Labor Day, reward yourself with the drive of the future. Go electric and save big. Time's running out on thousands in federal EV tax credits ending September 30th. Combine that with Kia of Everett's Labor Day savings on award-winning Kia EVs, and you've got simple, easy, fun deals worth celebrating. Take advantage of this opportunity. Stop by today or visit KiaofEverett.com.
The best drive you'll ever take is to Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz. Where did summer go? The Labor Day travel rush has begun. If you're flying, you might spend less time in the security line. CBS's Nicole Valdez is at the airport in Nashville.
There are options for now families and military members that can really bypass the wait for your standard traffic there through security. But even if you're going through standard TSA, the good news is you get to keep your shoes on now, which makes things move a lot faster.
And Spirit Airlines has just announced its file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, months after emerging from another bankruptcy. It will continue operations for the time being. A University of Miami football player is in custody and facing 3 counts of vehicular homicide. Darius Hayes turned himself in after police in Largo, Florida filed the charges for an accident in May that killed 3 people. Here's Police Chief Mike Lux.
You have the death of 3 innocent people that were just traveling on the roadways. So, yes, they're very serious charges.
A judge said there will not be a decision today on a request for a temporary injunction by Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to stop President Trump from firing her. And CBS's Natalie Brand says there is upheaval at another federal agency.
President Trump is also facing increasing pushback after firing CDC Director Susan Monteras, which triggered several other top officials at the agency to resign.
HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sent an email to CDC employees after those resignations. Reporter Sabrina Cupid on what he wrote.
Secretary Kennedy wrote that the American people are ready to believe in this agency again if we show them integrity, accountability, and science guide every decision. He went on to say that he and Trump are aligned on a common sense vision for the CDC, strengthening public health infrastructure, investing in prevention and response, and returning the agency to its core mission of protecting Americans from communicable diseases.
The nation's largest pharmacy chain says it isn't going to offer COVID vaccinations in 16 states.
CVS cites the current regulatory environment. Pharmacists in those 16 states can't give shots that haven't been recommended by the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That panel has yet to endorse this fall's COVID shots and is not scheduled to meet for another 3 weeks. Andy Pexos is a virologist at Johns Hopkins University.
COVID is happening right now, so we run the risk of delaying the rollout of the vaccine while we go through some of these regulatory hurdles.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Walgreens says it will offer the vaccine in states where it's able to. Saturday's Powerball jackpot now estimated at $1 billion. That's the sixth largest prize in the game's history. At the close of the trading on Wall Street today, Dow closed down about 0.25%. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
Coming up, new information in this week's search for Travis Decker. That's after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
All right, Aaron, Tacoma to Olympia. Plan on an hour and 20 minutes. You got a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup through JBLM starting at Gravely Lake Drive. And then more slowing between Lacey and Olympia starting near Marvin Road. That's about a 5 to 6 mile backup there. Southbound on the Valley Freeway is getting heavier between Highway 18 into Sumner. Over toward Tiger Mountain, eastbound 18 packed heading over to Summit. About a 3-mile backup here. Northbound 405, you're packed from the West Valley Highway to the Maple Valley Highway, where we just cleared a stall. South Center to Bellevue is going to take you 25 minutes. Coming the other way, Bellevue to South Center, 35. You've got your usual backup starting near 520 in Bellevue, and then another pretty thick backup now heading into South Center. South 5 into Seattle is packed from Northgate into downtown. Linwood to Seattle has improved to a half hour. The Airport Expressway, you're backed up approaching the main terminal. And on the water, the Mukilteo, Kingston, and Point Defiance terminals all reporting 1 hour wait for drivers. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. We have new details today on what search teams found this week as they went looking for new clues in the Travis Decker case. KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon reports those crews recovered bones.
Right now, it is unclear if those bones are animal or human, but the sheriff's office tells us that the bones have been sent to Central Washington University's anthropology department to be analyzed. Any other evidence they found on the search is also being analyzed to see if it's connected to the investigation. Investigators were searching near the campsite area where the bodies of Decker's 3 daughters were found nearly 3 months ago.
Seattle police are investigating a hate crime at a Catholic school in the Magnolia neighborhood. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
Reaction from Seattle Police Detective Eric Munoz.
It's very disturbing and very alarming.
Just a day after the deadly Catholic church shooting in Minneapolis, Seattle officers found a swastika Wednesday painted with tar on the side of Our Lady of Fatima Parish School, still wet to the touch.
The fact that it was placed on a Catholic school is even more offensive and crude in nature.
Munoz says their bias team is now throwing everything at finding the suspect. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
The body of a base jumper has been recovered in the Central Cascades. The Snohomish County Sheriff's Office says the 40-year-old man jumped from the summit of Mount Bering at an elevation above 6,000 feet. A companion reported hearing a crash, then spotted that man's parachutes near the 4,000-foot level. The body was airlifted out after a 3-day search. Major League Baseball shortens the suspension for Mariners outfielder Victor Robles. He will now miss 7 games for throwing a bat at a minor league pitcher.
I don't know the last time, or if ever, that I've seen a batter throw the bat at the pitcher.
Robles was facing a 10-game suspension, but he appealed and apologized for that bat throw. He said he was frustrated after being hit multiple times, adding it has been mentally tough dealing with the recent death of his mother. Weather forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. A picture-perfect Labor Day weekend. We'll see mostly sunny skies the next few days with highs topping out right around 80. Right now 73 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. It's hour number 3. I'm Spike O'Neill. Greg Tomlin's in today. And it's time, as we always do every Friday, to take a look back at some of the show's, I think, most interesting moments, intriguing moments, thought-provoking moments. That's our Friday favorites. Look back at the stories we got to cover this week. And Greg, you weren't here this week, but I'm not sure if you have a story that we covered that caught your interest?
I'm an avid listener. I know every segment from every single day.
Beautiful. Now, I know we didn't have a 10-foot python slithering through the studio this week, but was there something that we did that caught your eye? Or you're more than welcome to bring in a story that we didn't get to that you'd like to bring to the attention.
You want
to
to give me the lead on this?
You're the guest.
It's freewheeling.
I know what Laura's going to do. So no mystery. Not much mystery
No,
here.
you don't.
Okay. I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper, Greg, and you tell me when she gets to it if I'm right.
Is there anything else I could do?
Did anything else even happen this week? Look, Greg, what do you got? Please tell me it's the Taylor Swift engagement.
No, but I am actually looking forward to getting into that with Laura and getting her perspective on that because I know she knows the ins and outs of that relationship.
She called dibs on that, too, for Friday Favorites. I was so mad.
I sure did. I said it so fast.
So mad.
Okay, let me get your guys' take on this. It's a write-up over at Medium, okay? After years of digital fatigue, it's finally happening. Live music is back in full force, and it's not just the stadium tours. From small city clubs to outdoor amphitheaters, 2025 is shaping up to be a record-breaking year for concerts and live performance culture across the world. As a musician myself, this got me very excited, and I want to get your guys' take on why this is happening. Has the fog just finally lifted from COVID, and we're longing innately for some of these community experiences? I think this is a fascinating article in light of the fact that there's more AI music out there in the digital realm. Does this kind of show that there's a hunger to see human beings doing human things? And why is there sort of this boom in live music right now? I feel it. I don't think I ever remember a time, Spike, when I've seen so many local summer concert series that last all summer and are so well attended. So my in-laws were up at one at Gig Harbor just a few days ago. People were setting up chairs at like 6 a.m. in the morning, not to see Bruce Springsteen or Zach Bryan, but to see a local tribute band that was playing at Gig Harbor. And I'm smart enough to know it's not because that local cover band has a following of thousands of people. It's because people go, this is an experience where we can get out with our community. Yes, enjoy the soundtrack to the evening, but we're out experiencing nature, this beautiful day, and our fellow citizens here. And there's just something, I think there's this deep longing within all of us to have more of those experiences, especially still coming out of COVID some 5 years ago. But what are your guys' take on this big boom in live music?
The story, first off, says it's a record year for live performance. Mm-hmm. Does that mean we're paying more to see live performance? Is that based on ticket sales of, what cost me $35 at the height of my concert life? Now is a $500 ticket to see anybody of
That's also in this article.
Prominence.
I just posted on Instagram the other day a story. I took a digital shot of one of my tickets to see Daft Punk at WAMU Theater some 10 years ago. It was like $35.
Right.
Are you kidding me? And that's not that long ago, everybody. But now prices have ballooned.
Let me show you my $7 Rolling Stones ticket from 1978. $7.
No, $7? I thought you said $70.
$7 to see the Rolling Stones, 1978
$70 would be
JFK Stadium.
A steal these
I was going to say that wasn't at Altamont, was it?
No, $700 is what nowadays. When the Stones played here the last time, you couldn't get in the door for the worst seat in the building for less than $700.
Paul McCartney on tour right now at Palm Springs or at Palm Desert. I looked at the tickets; they start at like $700.
Lady Gaga came to town 2 weeks ago. My kid was in town, or was home for summer, and Darby and a friend went down to the Gaga show hoping to score a last-minute dropped-price digital ticket as the show would start. Oftentimes that's the case with digital. That's one of the beauties of digital tickets nowadays is you can really, kind of track them and watch them as the show approaches. The tickets never drop below $500. Even when the show is 2-3 songs in, tickets prices stayed.
It's because it's bots. It's
robots.
Is that
what it is?
Yeah.
It's not a human making a decision to sell that ticket and gain anything except for a total loss?
I saw Spin Doctors, Gin Blossoms, and Blues Traveler at Chateau Saint Michel, and I loved it just the other day. But it was well attended. It was packed. It was like a week ago.
Yeah. Okay. I saw somebody else was there.
And
too.
Just incredible. I mean, all these bands had maybe 2 or 3 hits in the 90s.
Yeah.
But it was just such a pleasure to be out there with the sea of people that have that shared experience that we're going through together and have a little bit of an affinity for the same songs. And I just thought it was a wonderful evening. And there's just such a hunger for that right now for whatever reason.
I think you nailed it coming out of the break here is that there's a sense of community that we need. again. And the fact that it's the most beautiful time of the year and the most beautiful part of the country in Seattle in the Northwest in the summertime, Gig Harbor. I don't care who they put on stage. If it's, I got a lawn chair, I got a cold drink, I got a friends, I got sunshine. That sense of community is so valuable. And you're right, we have fairs and concerts and performances, whether it's the zoo or the pier or the stadium or a park. It's wonderful to get together and listen.
Get out and smell the roses. More of this, please. This is one of the trends that's happening in the modern age that I can actually get behind. But what are your thoughts, Laura?
I've bought more concert tickets this summer and for the upcoming fall than I think I ever have in my life. So it's really interesting that you bring up this article saying that I'm not alone in doing that.
Yeah.
I do think it's a little bit of like, oh, okay, COVID's over. And we had, I mean, I remember thinking during COVID, this is so dramatic now, but at the time, I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to do some things again. And when I can, when there's the remote possibility, I'm not going to sit on the sidelines or say, oh, that's $30 more than I wanted to spend, or I'll see them next time they're in town. I think that was something that I took out of COVID, was just this gratitude and a little bit of like a YOLO attitude. Like, okay, if they're in town and I'm going to see this tour, I'm going to go. I'm just going to make it happen. So yeah, I'm spending a lot more money that I probably shouldn't be. But I'm really excited to see all of these artists. And I love live music. I'm glad that I'm putting a little bit more of my budget towards it intentionally, because it's so fun.
Yes, and I love highlighting these stories that talk about digital fatigue, because I want to emphasize that more, that is something we should all be feeling. It can serve a purpose, but I think more and more of us are waking up to the fact that we need to stop letting the phones use us and start using the phones.
Can I say something I'm not doing at live shows anymore? I am not recording with my phone.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up, okay? I think this is a generational thing.
Yeah?
So, okay, when I was at the Spin Doctors, Gin Blossoms Blues Traveler show at Chateau, there's a lot of people around my age group there. So mid-40s, maybe mid-50s, right in that range, right? So Gen X and a little millennials. And so here's what I noticed the move is with that age group at concerts and filming them, okay? So everybody, first of all, sits down when they're not playing the hits. So we've all said we're not going to stand the whole show. We all mutually agree that, like, I don't want to, like, feel my feet hurting halfway through this performance. So if we don't know the tunes, we're going to sit and enjoy them. But I'm sitting, okay? The second they play one of the hits, everybody gets up on their feet. All the smartphones come out, but usually only for a verse chorus. The second that first chorus is over, all the phones go back down, and people, you can see it. It's like mutually agreed upon.
Yeah.
We're now going to enjoy it with our own eyes. I'm not going to look through the little glowing rectangle to witness this performance. I'll get a record of it so I can go back and enjoy it, but maybe for like 45 seconds to a minute, and then it immediately goes down. My pro move is I get the band in the frame, and then I hold it down by my chest, and I glance down at it every once in a while to see if I'm still getting them in the frame, but I'm enjoying it with my own eyes.
Okay,
what do you think of that move?
It's for you to watch later is your purpose.
No, I don't want to post it. I don't care about
What I'll do
posting
is post it, and I think that's why people are okay with smaller clips. No one wants to watch your entire, concert video on your shaky phone, unless you somehow snuck in a tripod at the Spheres. But which I have seen some of those YouTube videos and they're excellent. But for me, I'm thinking, I want to prove to people that I was somewhere interesting on a summer evening. Let me get 30 seconds for my Instagram story, and then I'm good. And I'll do like a song that I like or that is popular. I'll grab that 30 seconds, a cool little moment on stage with the band, and then we're done. I'm back to like the task of social media producing is over now, and now I can enjoy the show.
What about you, Spike? Are you more old school analog in this realm? If you're at a show of a band you just absolutely adore, does the phone ever come out, or not at all? You just say, I'm enjoying it with these 2 ears I get.
I've been thrown out of shows for taking down people who hold their phones up at shows.
Taking people down?
Taking them down?
I take them
what
down.
do you mean?
I knock the phone out. No, I don't do that. I will never record a show.
Get them at the
on a phone.
knees.
Whoa, okay.
I will not pay way more than I want to go to a show to look at it through a phone. I don't need to go back and review it. It's in my mind. It's there, and there are plenty of audio clips available. If I want to go looking on the web, there are plenty of clips out there. I can find a nice quality one to relive the moment that I knew I was there.
Good point.
I want to live the moment. People are, to your point about
Look at you.
screen fatigue. And it's just, I for a long time, for a while, I should say, I held the phone up. I tried to do this, blah, blah, blah. But then I come to realize I'm missing the show to get the video. I'll never watch again.
True.
People who record fireworks shows on their phone are nuts. Are nuts. So let me get to my favorite of the week, because I want to make sure we get time to get to Laura's. And we may have to hold yours over for the bottom of the hour because yours is big. This week in Mariner baseball, not only did the M's take 4 out of 6 at home, which was nice, and the M's are 2 games back with 28 to play in the West. It's been a fine season. Cal Raleigh continues to roll on through history. But what I loved about this week was the kids that were involved in Mariner news this week. Laura, do you have the audio of the kid caster, the Mariner youth? I think it was on Saturday's game against the A's. We had it on Monday. They bring a kid in to broadcast one batter, I believe it is, joins the team broadcast. Let's play this kid.
Up next to bat, Jacob Wilson, number 5.
Batting just over 300 this year. It's a good hitter.
Yeah, 5. Say so.
I'd say so. I love it.
And pitch. Hit out into left field.
Russell, what are we doing?
Why?
You can think of it as being very lucky or very
What is going on around here, Russell?
Oh, man. I love this kid. Loves baseball. Oh, man.
It's just sad.
What is sad?
That's true.
So young Russell is given the opportunity to sit in the Mariner booth and broadcast with our own broadcasters over the Mariner Baseball Network, and the opposing team hits a home run, and Russell just, they had to literally reel him back in from FCC violation.
Russell.
Okay, Russell. I love that. And we pondered on this one when this story had its show early in the week, that there should be an entire channel available to us. You've seen, like, in broadcast nowadays, they have these alternate broadcasts, whether it's the Manning cast of Eli and Peyton, or it's
Dude Perfect guys have
Pat
their own
McAfee
channel.
where they do like these off the cuff, less formal, like a sit with a bunch of your buddies. I'd love to listen to kids come in. And if there was an alternate channel, I could just listen to little kids call baseball. I would love that once in a blue moon. I think that'd be fantastic.
Here's the thing. I know you're pure of heart when it comes to that recommendation, but inevitably that space, if it took shape, would become corrupted. It would become, well, I sort of rue the day when we started professionalizing things that kids did. And so it would become so popular that then the influx of money would come.
Like the Ellen show.
And then you'd look for people to try to exploit it. And then it would be kids trying to be professional way too early in life and being way too serious about it. So right now there's this sort of glossy sheen, and like, it's wonderful, right? It's an authentic response from this child that's innocent, right? But then if you turned it into a recurring permanent thing that lasts like the whole game, maybe that's like the pessimistic side of my innate qualities, but I just think it would be corrupted like within no time.
No, you're right. You're spot on.
Well, you said earlier this week that it would be a different kid every time. So you give a kid a taste of the experience.
If you could randomize it or something, exactly.
Yeah.
And maintain that purity, sure. Great
idea. And by the way, that kid came in second for kids enjoying baseball. Or do you have that photo? Throw this kid up here, because this kid came back. We came back from a national broadcast of the Mariners game, and they came up to this kid. If you can't see the photo on the YouTube channel, shame on you. You've all seen it. It's the kid. He's got to be, a year and a half, 2 years maybe, and he's got a family-sized bag of kettle corn, and he is face deep in this kettle corn. And the broadcaster's like, well, kids like the Mariner offense. They're just feasting. Let them eat. That is baseball.
Love
Look
it.
at that kid. I love him. Anyway, that was my fan favorite. My favorite for the week, my Friday favorite, was kids in baseball and Mariner baseball. Laura, I know I cut you short on time. Should we?
That's okay. I can do this. Greg, what are your questions for me about Taylor Swift's landmark engagement news from earlier in this week to Travis Kelce, who I hear is a football player?
Were you surprised at the engagement? Because, Taylor Swift has a storied history of a lot of former boyfriends. And why do you think this has lasted up to this point? And why do you think they decided to ultimately tie the knot?
Well, she is, I think, what you would call a serial monogamist. She's almost always in a relationship, and they last several years, but like there's not a lot of break between them, right? She's been dating Travis Kelce for 2 years. That's a pretty appropriate amount of time to date someone when you're like 35 before you're like, okay, we're going to do this or not.
She's not a kid anymore. She knows she knows what love is, knows what she wants.
Yeah. So them getting engaged didn't surprise me. I think the reason it was such earth-shattering news is that we've been listening to her lyrics, her stories of ups and downs and love and heartbreak. And, it's funny, a lot of the songs that played this week in the newscasts and on, TV shows as people were talking about this were written about a past relationship where she thought she was going to get married, her last boyfriend, Joe Alwyn. So kind of funny to play them in reference to the new guy when they were written about someone else.
So interesting you bring up her songwriting and the content of her lyrics, because I'd ask the question, does that change now going forward? If she's in this healthy, lasting relationship, do more of her songs revolve around the good things in life and the good aspect of relationships instead of the many breakups?
I mean, listen, she got, 2 full albums out of her good relationship with Joe Alwyn.
Okay.
So I have hopes.
You have hopes.
I have hopes. It does feel like a lot of the excitement is it feels like this grand conclusion to her narrative, of heartbreak and heartache. But I'm very excited if they do decide to have kids for a motherhood album.
Oh, yeah. That could be good.
Because her early stuff, talking about her own parents as a kid and growing up, is so iconic and storied, and those songs will just make me and anyone cry. 15, Never Grow Up. And so the idea of her putting that energy towards being a mom, her own kids, oh my gosh, I want it so badly.
Yeah, is it safe to say that all her previous relationships were with artists for the most part, right? Because she's always dated in the celebrity realm, is that fair to say? And they've been artists. And Travis Kelce, while he's an international star, he's not an artist. He's an athlete.
No, he is not.
He's an athlete, and I think that gives it more. They're not of the same. He doesn't have to worry about being in her shadow.
Yeah, they're superstars in their own right.
Yes, and he's a solid guy. He plays for the team I hate, but that's okay. He's a solid guy. He and his brother are genuinely fun guys. I love their podcast together. I think he's a solid citizen, and he asked her dad for her hand in marriage. I mean, that's
so
old
sweet.
school nice, right?
Yeah.
I wish him nothing but happiness and
I would love
losses
to get
in the playoffs.
Both your takes on this, although we are up against it here. I hear the music coming in. And this isn't a moral judgment, but it's just a fascinating observation about the institution of marriage in the modern age. I came across a tweet thread that was responding to the news that Travis and Taylor are engaged, and it says this: marriage used to be the entry point in adult life, one of the first steps. Today, marriage has become the culmination of adulthood, the final step after a long run of individual experiences. People are expected to first build your career, live alone, travel, date for years, and then settle into marriage. And how culture that's been a massive shift. I mean, you see this, they're right in line with the married age now, which is sort of early mid-30s, right? Yeah. It used to be early 20s. I mean, not even so long ago.
Spot on, yeah.
But just so fascinating implications there to dissect on what that means for the institution itself and even society and relationships and covenant relationships.
Well, and it's true. She's done much cooler things than getting engaged to. Engaged? Proposed to.
Well said, everybody. That was our Friday favorites. When we come back, Confederate monuments and then their acknowledgement, if not returned, or social study. Oh, who knows? We'll be right back. This hour is brought to you by Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by mynorthwest.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-497-0593. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-497-0593. That's 800-497-0593. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Struggling to stay cool? Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors and experience significant heat reduction and up to 30% savings on your utility bills. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Sound Transit says it is billions of dollars over budget. The agency just announcing all of its ongoing projects will come with a much heftier price tag. KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley.
Board members blame inflation and rising costs out of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as uncertainty around tariffs and federal funding.
We don't really know what those impacts are going to be yet.
Thursday, the board moved forward on its enterprise initiative, a plan to identify where the agency can cut costs and increase its revenue.
We are going to achieve the objectives of the Sound Transit 3 plan.
The final goal, update the system plan to make it affordable and in line with what voters wanted.
Agency says the budget shortfall is up to $20 billion more than planned. Pierce County judge says a 14-year-old accused of bringing a gun to school will stay locked up. This happened Wednesday at Graham Kapowson High School on the first day of class. 3 schools went into lockdown after campus security spotted that teen in a hallway. Deputies say they found a loaded gun in his backpack. The teen pleaded not guilty to multiple gun-related charges. DUI suspect crashed into a state patrol vehicle overnight on I-5 southbound in Seattle. Trooper Chelsea D. Hart says that trooper was investigating a separate collision near the convention center.
And while he was outside of his vehicle, a driver came through the scene, struck the patrol car that was blocking the roadway, and was later on arrested for DUI.
No one was injured, but the vehicles were badly damaged. The trooper's cruiser had to be towed away. Well, it is getaway day for the Labor Day weekend. CBS's Chris Van Cleve has more.
American and United Airlines expect to fly about 7 million passengers this weekend. The FAA is forecasting the busiest Labor Day in 15 years. The Kittle family is hoping to beat the crowd leaving Washington, D.C.
Yeah, definitely nervous. We didn't know what to expect with the holiday. We thought it might be really busy, so we got here a little bit early.
Most Americans will drive, finding gas prices on average about 15 cents a gallon cheaper.
In Seattle, average price for a gallon of regular is $4.56. That is 17 cents more than 1 year ago. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 2:33. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, I'll tell you what, if you're just hitting the road for your weekend getaway, here's what we're seeing on some of the more popular routes. Tacoma to Olympia, if you're heading to the coast, is going to take you an hour and 20 minutes. You've got a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup through JBLM starting at Gravely Lake Drive, and then another 8-mile backup between Nisqually and Olympia. Westbound 16 heading out toward Gig Harbor, you're packed from the west end of the Narrows up to Wallachia Drive. Both directions of Highway 18 are crowded between I-90 and Tiger Mountain Summit. Eastbound 90 over Snoqualmie Pass is looking good, though, wide open. Eastbound 2, we're seeing backups heading into Monroe and again through Sultan. The drive to the airport looks good. I can't speak for inside the terminal, but on the water, we're starting to get busy as well. The Edmonds-Kingston ferry route has a 1-hour wait for drivers in Kingston, 2-hour wait in Edmonds. The Mukilteo terminal and Point Defiance also have 1-hour wait for drivers. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. A nice Labor Day weekend. It'll be dry with highs topping out right around 80 each day. Right now, 74 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back, everybody. Spike O'Neill here with Greg Tomlin, Laura Scott. It's the Jake and Spike Show. You know, I teased that we're going to talk about the Robert E. Lee portrait being reinstalled at West Point, and whether or not that's a good idea or a bad idea. But I don't. It's Friday afternoon. It's Labor Day weekend.
Can we summarize our thoughts in 3 sentences each and then move on?
Okay. Why don't you start?
I think it's a disaster.
Thank you
I
very
think
much.
it's an absolute disaster. I mean, Abraham Lincoln wanted Robert E. Lee to lead federal forces in 1861, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't betray my people. Had to fight for good old Virginia, or whatever the saying was. Yeah. And he was a traitor to his country. And so lionizing him and all this. Was he a great general? Yeah, he probably was. But he made some horrible decisions at a moment where our country needed him to be on the side of freedom and emancipation and the side of the North. And he made the wrong choice. And so to enshrine him in some kind of a positive sense is not great.
And for a Secretary of Defense who's making it his priority to rename ships and bases and portraits and statues. You know, when you got the National Guard raking up leaves, picking up litter, and spreading mulch in D.C. this week, I don't know if this guy's the best man for the job.
Have you ever been to Gettysburg?
I have.
The Gettysburg. I've been there 3 times.
That's amazing.
And I'm overcome each time I go there. But what's interesting is that there are monuments to both the Union and the Confederates there. And for the longest time, I didn't know the feelings that I would get, you know, in my belly, in my head, in my heart about how I'd feel about that. But I think in some ways there is sort of this conciliatory feeling you get when you go there. And I almost feel like a sense of pity for a lot of like the Confederate soldiers. And you might say how they were defending such an evil institution, which they kind of were in as many words. Yeah. But I always got, you know, there's some videos of like Civil War vets in the early 1900s, like getting together in parades, the North and the South and stuff, and shaking hands. And I always thought like, you know, reconciliation and those kind of notions are something that we should accentuate.
Yeah.
But as far as, again, honoring and putting on a pedestal those that were fighting for the wrong side, I'm not in favor of that.
Especially when you figure in the fact that most of these statues to the Confederate heroes were erected in the 1920s, 1930s.
Jim Crow South.
With the intent of reminding African Americans their place in the Jim Crow era of America. All right, moving on to something even I think more close to home for all of us, and you can relate to this. I hope.
A little more lighthearted.
I don't know if it's lighthearted. There's a story of a mom who was planning a family trip to Disney. Now the problem is her kids got sick, and the kids had norovirus. 2 kids, right? Were they 4 and 7 months? Laura, if I remember the story correctly.
Yeah, a 7-month-old and a 4-year-old.
4-year-old. And so the mom who had been planning this very expensive trip to Disney, in the 11th hour, the kids got sick and the mom went anyway. Didn't cancel the trip to Disney.
And in her defense, she says she thought it was just a stomach virus. That it was going to pass. She didn't think it was norovirus.
Right, no, she didn't say, doctor says norovirus, here's your mask. She goes, I'm going to Disney. Wasn't one of those.
But getting to Disney involved a car ride and then a plane ride and then a shuttle ride. And like all of these scenarios individually would be the worst place on the planet to have active norovirus.
Well, and one kid was puking like on the way to the airport. Another kid had explosive diarrhea. I mean, this was not a pretty picture.
The idea that it was only a stomach virus was fading quickly for this mom. But
and then her husband starts throwing up on the plane.
On the plane. At this point, it's a done deal.
At that point, you're in it.
Yeah, you're in it.
No pun intended.
Well, her worst mistake was documenting the whole thing and then putting it on TikTok.
Well, yeah, I agree.
I mean, my goodness, to leave that up for public scrutiny. Like, I've traveled. I understand the predicament this person is in. I've had 3 kids now for 14 or 10 years, whatever, however you want to do the math. And yeah, it's a little travel is tough and it's dicey, and you don't know what situation you're going to be in the day of the actual travel, and kids get sick all the time and constantly, and sometimes you just go, we need to make the best of this bad situation here. But the last thing I would do would be broadcast those problems all over TikTok. But maybe it's served her well because she probably has way more followers, but also fiery critics at the same time.
Well, here's my thought when I heard the story was the reason this mom did this and didn't cancel this trip was because Disney's one of the most expensive vacations you can take.
It's so
when you're
expensive.
flying to, staying at, getting into the parks of Disney with a family of 4, even one of them 7 months is probably free. You're talking thousands, if not $10,000 or more. Who knows?
Can be.
And the cancellation policies for these trips, whether it's a cruise or it's Disney, I'm not mean to point out Disney specifically, but they're a multi-billion-dollar organization based on customer service. It's impossible to cancel these types of trips and not take this. I mean, who knows if, I don't know what this family's particular financial situation is.
Right.
If they're the gazillionaires that I don't know that they are, then, you're an idiot to endanger your family's health and other people's health just over money. But most families aren't, so affluent they can afford to just eat a $10,000 vacation. And these organizations, these corporations, these resorts, these cruise lines, these hotels, these parks, their cancellation policies are cruel. It just ironclad tough. You're out of money. You can have trip insurance, and that covers a portion of your trip. I believe this family did have trip insurance. But, it should be easier for a circumstance like a health situation. It's not like something else came up. What came up was lunch and diarrhea is what came
there
up.
There you go. And not to be on the side of the big bad corporation
No,
here,
somebody
but
has to, and you
for
drew
a
the short
moment,
straw. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate, because if you were way more lenient as a company for your policy of cancellations. How would you verify that these claims are ever legit? Now, it's easy in this case to go, yeah, we even have evidence here on video posted on TikTok that this family was in a bad shape.
Yeah.
But then, if you make it more and more lenient, the cancellation policy, you would just get cancellations left and right. Oh, we didn't know we had a soccer game that day, and so the day before we're supposed to be at Disney, we want a full refund. But we say, oh, we've come down with some horrible illness, that kind of thing. And then that could be problematic for a company.
I would go to, Laura, I would go to the Ferris Bueller level of proof. Wheel grandma in here. Show me a corpse. No.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Pucker up, Buttercup.
Yeah, right? Get grandma in here. Still me?
You just produce a corpse and a roller on bones.
Exactly. I think if you bring a doctor, if you have documentation from a medical professional that you were too sick to make the trip, I don't think that's too much to ask of a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
That got me out of an Airbnb reservation once.
For doctor's note.
Yeah, a doctor's note that I did have shingles, which is contagious, and that I was within my rights to cancel an international stay.
Thank you.
International Vancouver.
I just think that big corporations who live on customer service and live on their reputation as being the happiest place on earth ought to have a little bit of a kinder heart.
Well, here's Spike. The thing. They can track people these days, right? Like back in the old days, anyone could call in with any old excuse. Now they can be like, okay, you get one. You get one, no questions asked, we believe you. But if it becomes a pattern, then you don't get your deposit back anymore.
Guys, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You can miss it. Well played, sir. All right, folks, when we come back, we'll have the best of your texts of the day, your feedback on what we do for you, to you, with you. We'll be right back.
John Curley Show.
I told my wife once that you can tell the temperature outside.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You count the number of chirps that a cricket makes in 15 seconds, and you multiply that by 4, and that tells you the outside temperature. All right, you know what?
What kind of formulas?
I'm going to look it up. And you know what? You're going to be eating your words in there, Mr. Laffy, traffic, Laffy.
Okay. The John Curley Show. Weekdays 3 to 7. Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Eric Butler here, General Manager at Kia of Everett. This Labor Day, reward yourself with the drive of the future. Go electric and save big. Time's running out on thousands in federal EV tax credits ending September 30th. Combine that with Kia of Everett's Labor Day savings on award-winning Kia EVs, and you've got simple, easy, fun deals worth celebrating. Take advantage of this opportunity. Stop by today or visit KiaofEverett.com.
The best drive you'll ever take is to Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
It was a lot of tennis over a lot of years that took its toll physically on Michael.
I may have had the heart of a champion, but the ordinary body that kept breaking down.
But Michael knew exactly who to call. Dr. Mark Wagner, who recommended stem cell therapy.
He did my left knee, and then I had a torn Achilles. I would have been out for over a year. And it was like 5 weeks later, I was on a golf course again. The latest, I got my hip done because I ripped a glute connection to the hip joint. Boy, did that hurt. Once again, here I am walking golf courses, and I'm hiking around on the beaches. And if I'd had surgery, I'd still be walking around with a walker.
Quite a few of Dr. Wagner's patients have told me that, so you'd recommend him.
Oh, absolutely. I can't say enough about the man and what he does. To me, it's a miracle breakthrough in injury treatment. It works.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, knee, even an Achilles.
He says he can do any joint in the body. I believe him.
Before choosing surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Many retirees are enjoying the summer weather, but not enjoying the high cost of living. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, who says a reverse mortgage may provide some stress relief.
If you're struggling with your mortgage payments or other bills, or maybe you just like some extra money, a reverse mortgage allows you to tap your home equity for tax-free cash. You've worked hard to build up that equity in your home. Now let it work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it hard to fight flu, pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Struggling to stay cool? Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors and experience significant heat reduction and up to 30% savings on your utility bills. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Hartley Wilcox here from Wilcox Family Farms. It's been fun meeting people at our recent egg demo events. I'm often asked, what do the hens eat? Well, Wilcox hens eat natural grains, seeds, and grass. They forage for worms and bugs, and their diet is free from pesticides and fertilizers. For fresh local eggs, look for Wilcox eggs at Safeway, Town & Country Markets, or Amazon Fresh. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Welcome back, everybody. We want to thank you for giving us your time today. I'm going to be gone next week. Jake will be back. Laura will be here. Greg, thank you so much for filling in with us today.
What a pleasure.
Every time you're here. Let's get to some of your texts. We got pages and pages and pages from you guys today.
We
Laura, you want to
do.
get us started?
On scam texts and calls, B in Puyallup says, I got one yesterday about confirmation on a laptop I didn't buy.
And from the 206, I worked at a federal building that houses U.S. Marshals. I received many calls from people saying that they had calls supposedly from the Marshals stating they owed money, and so many of them gave up anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 to $6,000. And I had the heartbreaking job of telling them that it was a scam. It was absolutely heartbreaking.
You know, every organization will tell you they do not solicit for funds through text or phone calls. You never believe the person that calls you. Hang up. Call the organization they claim to be and find out. You generate the call. That's the idea. On the Impaler show last night over at the Puyallup. Thank you guys so much for coming out. 253 says, PNW native saw Spike and the Impalers for the first time last night in Puyallup. Truly a Northwest treasure. Oh, thank you. At one point, Spike's mic cut out. And I thought, who let Jason Rance run the soundboard? No, but I was canceled from my Fentanyl Fest day appointment on 3rd Avenue in Belltown that Jason canceled.
Fentanyl Fest days?
I'm kidding.
Chris, you go ahead, Laura.
Oh, Chris from Sumner says it was such a great time. The park was packed to the point that people set their chairs up across the street.
Woo. And Kate in Auburn says, the people in line to meet Spike ahead of me all had these beloved memories to share with him. I mean, Spike had this huge impact in their lives from the Bob Rivers Show and from Spike and the Impalers. It's really touching to see, and I think I was the only one in line who was psyched to meet him because of listening to the man on KIRO first. I hope he knows how beloved he is to those older fans and now to us newer ones.
Well, that's all the time we've got. No, that's really sweet. It was great. Wonderful, nice, wonderful people. I'm so blessed. On crime in Seattle, 360 says, I've lived in Seattle years ago when it was kind of an idyllic city. I now live in Anacortes, so maybe my comments aren't valid, but I live there now. If I lived there now, I'd say, 1, more police officers, not fewer. 2, redesign what policing looks like. I think we need to get back to knowing people, policing in that community on a friendly basis, members of our community, not as an enemy. Great point. And 3, make people camping everywhere in Seattle verboten. With the funds allocated, this is feasible. We spent over $2 billion on the homeless issue in Seattle over the last 2 years.
Fernando in Seattle, I guess I'm going to have to eat crow about the crime rate in the city. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
On ICE arrest of wildfire fighters, David in the 253 says there's a whole bunch of openings for wildland firefighters right now. I think if we need more firefighters, just like we always seem to need more people in the military, we should offer a path to citizenship. More power to them for being willing to do that hard work.
I couldn't agree more, but the visuals of your path to citizenship is through this raging forest fire seems a little game show-like to me. On my search for my potential long-lost son, Shannon in Duval says, are there any other pictures that might help, even a partial of the truck license plate? Any truck dealers in the area might remember this guy, and he leads on the idea of the partial image of the girl in the picture. How about a billboard advertisement with a reward? So hope you get this mystery solved. Hiring a detective would be worth it. I am a detective.
Well, I was going to say, if only we knew someone who used to work for a private eye. Oh, wait. Jake Skorheim.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to go I'm going to stop in every bar in Ocean City and offer this guy's picture and have a beer.
Okay, let's turn to the topic of FEMA here from the 206. Good. Let the states handle their own disasters. Everybody knows the wealthiest states are the Democratic ones anyway.
425 says having the federal government involved just adds another layer of costs associated with providing aid. Why do we have a whole separate entity to do so, especially one that seems to be biased against different political parties?
Well, I think while there's validity in that statement, it shouldn't be the case. And I would offer again, President Biden was one of the first people he would call every state, no matter who it was. What do you need? We are there for you. Look it up. It's not me making it up. Tony in Buckley says, I'm more worried about Mount Rainier blowing up because that's going to be a big old disaster. Thanks for that thought, Tony. I'll sleep better tonight.
Yeah. And Brett from Olympia says, states would go bankrupt. States are not equipped to handle disasters of that magnitude. It's irresponsible to think that we need to have local action and local money take care of local situations. Those resources are not equipped for this. Dismantling the apparatus to do so federally is the epitome of irresponsibility.
I love it when you guys have to read ones that you disagree with. It's so fun. Goodfellas says, yay, if we have Mount Tahoma blow or an earthquake, Trump will give us rolls of paper towels. Those paper products are getting quite expensive.
We especially have to import them from Canada with the tariffs and whatnot. On filming concerts on your phone, Joey says mid-40s and guilty of filming at concerts. But I stopped a long time ago. I never go back and rewatch my videos. No one does. I can watch live shows on YouTube anytime I want. It's better to experience things in the moment.
Hear, hear. Hard to disagree with that. And on the issue of that summer camp closing near Wenatchee, Zach in Monroe writes in, there are more dogs in Seattle than kids. Maybe they turn it into a doggy camp. Accommodate the masses. God forbid, Zach.
Go where the market is.
Yeah, it's smart move. I think we can all agree that the experience of outdoor activity, maybe that's the cultural shift you mentioned, Greg. Kids look down on their phone more than they look out at the great outdoors, and that's maybe something we can't put the genie back in the bottle on that one. We're done, folks. It's been a wonderful week. We appreciate you guys being along for the ride. Laura, I know you're traveling this weekend.
Yes.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
You and your 27 bridesmaid dresses tour. Is that
yeah,
another wedding?
We're off to another wedding.
Yeah. Greg, thank you so much for being part of the show today, buddy. Love sitting with you and talking with you. Great insights on things. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the John Curley Show coming up next.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO Newsradio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio. on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-7906. 800-298-7906.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99, and we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale, now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
And with over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city